Oh, perfect. Welcome to Bat Chat with Cronbat and Tortilla. Tortilla will be here in just a minute. She's grabbing her coffee. But this is a conversational podcast where we just talk about a topic, or we bring each a topic for ourselves to talk to each other about. Tonight, we're going to be talking about scary movies in our episode 2. And what that entails for us is just kind of our preference on scary movies. I think it's what we're going to cover, and what scary movies we like the most. So, what's your preference on scary movies?
What do you mean, my preference?
Okay, so do you like jump scares, like monsters, paranormal, like thrillers?
Okay, sorry. We need a love seat back here.
Like, what is, what's your preference?
I
what
like
do you
suspense. I like
your suspenseful ones?
Yeah. I don't like gore at all. I think it's just gross. No, I'd much rather.
I mean, that's the whole point of gore, is for it to be gross.
Yeah, but it's not scary
creepy...
to me. It's just icky.
Yeah, it's supposed to give you that icky, gross feeling.
No, it doesn't. I'm just like, it doesn't creep me out though. It's just like.
Just doesn't do it for
like,
me.
Okay, maybe it's because I'm a mom. I'm like, ew, mess.
I'm gonna. Whoop. That maybe is a little bit. I don't know if that did anything at all.
I don't know.
But whatever.
Yeah.
So, so you prefer suspenseful? Like what's one of your favorite, or one that you thoroughly enjoy?
We do not come prepared for these, do we? Okay.
No. This is just we came prepared as a topic to talk about.
Yeah.
Not necessarily about that specific stuff that we talk about. Very on the spot for you.
Okay.
All right. You want me to jump in? I like suspenseful movies, or like scary movies.
Yeah.
But I like for it to be around like paranormal.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's
so
on the
you
border.
Like possession and like demons. Ghosts.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just because it's like on the border of like it could be real.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's this
or
if it's fine line.
Like but you know what, like the serial killer things, like those could be real too.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are based off of true stories, so it's like
I do like some of those as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like when I think of it, I normally lean towards the paranormal.
Yeah.
Just because it's like we don't have any real evidence, like scientific evidence that scientists are taking like seriously for it. So it's like, at the end of the movie, I can say that was all fake and pretend.
Yeah.
And I can continue my merry way home.
You can go about life.
And when I turn off the light, I can just run to my bed really quickly. And
well, no, because we always watch scary movies in bed though, so you don't even have to worry about that. But for me, it's with those like ghosts and paranormal and all that, I take it way too seriously though. And I think about that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, but see, if it was a serial killer, then you're like having to double check all your doors, which we already do anyways for you. But
okay, well, no, with the serial killer things, then it's either it's like, okay, the Zodiac killer, like the Zodiac.
I did like that one.
That I was not into that because I felt no sense of closure at the end, and it's like, well, at this point, like he's probably dead at this point, like.
Well, there is no sense of closure because we don't know who the Zodiac killer was.
Yeah, but like for me, like I don't feel like I'm in danger, and like, which is a good thing. Like that's a good thing. Okay, you can sleep because I'm not like, honey, I gotta go pee. You need to walk me to the bathroom. It's 5 feet away.
We need to sleep with the light on.
Yeah. But yeah, it just doesn't give me that like heebie-jeebies, I guess.
Okay.
Or like the possession. Like I'm so freaked out by possession, it's not even funny.
So have you thought about another movie that you might have liked?
I don't know that I would say like, but the first thing I think about when I hear like scary movies is The Exorcist. And you've never seen that, right?
Not all the way through. I was a little young for when it came out.
I was too.
And then you won't let me watch it with you.
Because it's awful.
Because you have this childish fear of it.
Childish?
Yeah, you developed the fear from being a child, from watching it, and now you're hanging on to what it was, what that fear was, and not necessarily hanging on to the movie, because I'm sure if you rewatch it now, it's not going to be nearly as scary.
I tried to rewatch it once. So the first time I watched it, I was 9. Mm-hmm. And I tried to rewatch it once. I think I was 14-ish, maybe. And I got to like maybe 20 minutes into it. And I was like, nope, can't do it. Nope, I got scared. And so, what would I say? I was about 15. That was a while ago. A while. It was double digits ago. Let's be real. Yeah. Unfortunately. So, yeah, I'm still terrified of it. Can't do it.
Okay.
Nope.
So you hold me back on my movie watching.
You can watch. You can watch it. I'm just not gonna watch it with you. No, not gonna.
You always watch all the movies without me, anyway. So
it's because you're always playing video games.
Well, I got to do both. All right.
Anyone see my Lurky Bat mug?
You love it, don't you?
I do.
Awesome. All right, so when I think of like scary movie, and like the first one that I think of that I enjoy,
you just Zach awesome to me. It's awesome.
Is Paranormal Activity.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
No, number 2 got me more than the first one. I think that's because it had the baby in it, and that kind of struck the chord with me. I was like, oh god.
But I think the first one was kind of the scariest out of all of them that I've seen.
Like, maybe for you, because you don't care for our children like I do.
They can fend for themselves, you know. At a certain point, they can, you know, they gotta learn.
They can't tie their own shoes.
They'll learn.
They put on each other's pants.
All right. They'll learn. Someone will say something at school, and he won't wear them anymore, right? He'll make sure of it, you know. That's how these things go, right? You learn the hard way in life. Awful. So, but yeah, it was Paranormal Activity because it was like very suspenseful. Like it was just building up that entire movie for that last scene, and it got me real good. It scared me. That was a good scare.
Yeah.
Like even though you were kind of just on your edge of your seat the whole time, thinking that something was going to jump out. Because that's what I do in scary movies. Is I just sit there and I'm waiting, and I tell myself something's going to jump. Kind of like when the music picks up and stuff like that, and like so then I'm not able to get scared.
Yeah, and then you're next to me. You know? Then you're next to me, and when something happens, and you're just like laughing at me the whole time.
Right, so that one, got me. That was first one in a while that got me.
Let's see, what's the other? I thought you were gonna say scary movie. What's the scary movie you think?
No, that's a comedy. Get
I know, but you talk about it all the time.
Funny. It is pretty funny. Yep.
What's your favorite part of Scary Movie?
Is it Scary Movie 2? I always get the two mixed
just
up.
Just out of the 15 that there are, I know what it is.
It's when there's this guy with the strong hand.
Take my strong hand.
Take my strong hand. or it's my turn and he stuffs his hand in the pie so no one else wants to eat. Right? Or I like the one, I forget his name, but the guy
who's always smoking pot.
Yeah, smoking pot, and the pot plant grew and rolled him up and started smoking him, and then he didn't want to. They were like, "Oh, we'll save you," and he's like, "No, I'm getting so high right now," and like his afro was on fire or like in smoke. So that one I still think of, and I still think those are funny part of it.
You're such a goober.
I am.
You are.
So,
but I love you.
So The Exorcist was really scary for you. Paranormal Activity
was scary for you.
Scary for me. What? So it's hard to find like good scary movies, I think.
What are different
for ones that we like?
What are the different like categories of horror movies? Do you want to look that up really quick?
So I would say the different categories for myself. I mean, you have your phone right in front of you, so you can look if you'd like.
Well, I'm trying to put this on Instagram really quick.
Okay. So is, you have your monster movies.
Yeah,
So,
like the classics, like
the classics and
Frankenstein's monster and Dracula and
the Swamp Thing or the Thing and stuff like that, right? And then you have like your suspenseful ones. You have like gore.
Yeah.
As well.
Or I guess are those classified as slashers or is that different?
No, they're a little bit different. So this is like there's a lot of like crossover between a couple of these categories. So like slasher could be gore as well, but a slasher is more part of like a serial killer. So like Jason or Freddy.
Okay.
Yeah. But those can also kind of be like monster movies.
Okay.
But or like it's really Scream that has jumped out as a slasher and made that genre.
Yeah.
Right.
I definitely think like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, like all those kind of bundled together are but they're all like when I think of like classic horror movies, like those are the ones I think of. Like Freddy, Jason, Halloween, like all of those.
Friday the 13th. Yeah. Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's the Freddy Krueger movie. Is Nightmare on Elm Street. Children of the Corn. I know you thought that was stupid when I made you watch it, but oh my gosh, it still freaks me out. I'm still like, we are never moving next to a cornfield.
I was almost named Malachi.
I know.
And that would have, I think, been important. Well, I don't know. I like the name itself.
It's a badass name.
It's not a bad name. I wouldn't have minded it at all.
With the movie.
But then I would always be, as like, parents would always recognize me as the child from the corn who led all the other children.
But you know what? The name Malachi is getting really popular now. So I don't know. Bailey was almost named Malachi.
Yeah.
She was about one snide comment away from being Malachi. Seriously. I almost named her Malachi and then someone said, "Oh, but everyone's going to think she's a boy." I still am like, I named her Malachi. Called her Kai. Would have been awesome.
So, trying to think of some other ones. We had monsters, slashers, or suspenseful.
I will look it up.
All right, we'll look it up. So, I would say like out of like the slashers, I would say that Halloween probably the scariest for me. I think what Nightmare on Elm Street for Freddy Krueger was like a little like it was kind of crossing between gore and since it was like he was incepting your dreams was a little bit too much for me, like too far.
Yeah.
Whereas like Halloween, that shit could have really happened.
Totally could have. Wait, Halloween? No.
Halloween?
I don't.
You don't think that there could be a crazy serial killer with a giant knife going around?
The thing that got me was how slow he moved, and it's like
he only moves slow when he's coming towards you because he's a cocky little son of a bitch.
I know, but just seeing that, I'm like, no, too unrealistic, and like
he moves slow walking towards you, but then you turn around the corner and boom, he's right there. That's the problem.
Well,
as soon as you turn around, he's like teleports.
Yeah, but to me, that's just like super unrealistic. Then, he's just like moving in slow, and it's just.
But he knows you're not going to get away. That's like the scary part for me.
No, like, that's what Freddy is to me.
He knows you're not getting away, so he can take his leisure.
No.
And draw this out and see you suffer.
All right, here are the different movie genres: slasher / killer. So they're together. So. Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream. Okay.
Crime. Okay.
Okay, and so that's The Girl Who Knew Too Much. Never seen it. Okay, these are all from the 70s. Sorry, we were not born in the 70s.
Pumpkin and the Redneck?
Pumpkin and Redneck. Oh my gosh, that is a category.
So that is for Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
Okay.
The Hills Have Eyes,
Wrong Turn,
Wolf Creek. So yeah, I guess like
yeah.
The Hills Have Eyes.
The
That is
way,
some creepy shit as
the
well.
way they worded
Bumpkin
it,
and
like,
redneck.
the most messed up category. Home Invasion. See, those are the ones that I take very like.
The Strangers was scary. You remember
that
watching that one?
Freaked me out so much. I haven't seen these other. I think I've seen Your Next, but I can't remember. No, you know, I always think about watching it, but I don't.
What was that one that was on Netflix that we watched? Get Out. Get Out. Where him and his girlfriend went to their family house for like the weekend or something. And
no, that was them.
I know. No. This was like brand new. Anyways, that was super scary. If I pulled it up, you would know exactly what it is, right? Look it up now. So there was also like Monster and
Leprechaun. I've never seen that, but I've heard horrible things.
Yeah, that one from what I hear is just an awful movie to watch, right? So this one, you remember?
Oh, that? Yeah, that one was like kind of a comedy slash, like, I don't know. That wasn't Home Invasion. That was his house or her house. So that was
his
like
parents. It was
it was her parents' house.
Her parents' house, but then he had to get out. So I don't know. Like,
no, that was like a abduction. I wouldn't say invasion. Okay.
Oh, do you remember watching Pumpkinhead? Some part of these like scary movies.
This movie was the dumbest movie I've ever seen. Pumpkinhead. Dumb.
Some part of like Halloween is that you gotta watch some like
some stupid movies.
You know, some stupid scary movies.
Okay.
And that's, I think, is part of like Halloween as part of it. Like part of this. It's not part of scary movies. It's part of Halloween. So like, watching Pumpkinhead, or we watched, what was it, The Clown. That was a little creepy.
It wasn't as bad as Pumpkinhead, but it was up there. It was up there.
But it was a little creepy just because, like, he puts on the costume and it starts
like
fusing him and taking him over, making him kill.
All right, what's this? Small Creatures, Gremlins. That was adorable. I haven't seen any of these other ones. Ghouls, Critters, Trolls. I've seen the new Trolls with Princess Poppy.
Yeah. Other sci-fi monsters and aliens. So
Them, The Thing, Aliens, The Fly. I've seen none of them.
You've seen The Fly? Come on, that's where the guy he tries to do the teleportation and the fly comes in.
No, but I saw that on Phineas and Ferb when they did like the giant monster.
You haven't seen Aliens, or like Alien versus Predator? Aliens is more supposed to be like scary movie, like it's kind of hunting them down.
Well, I saw Alien versus Predator, but it was like right when it came out, and I don't remember it. But okay, giant monsters, King Kong. I haven't seen the old one, but I've seen the new one, and it was
one of the new ones.
The new one that came out.
New one.
It came out when I was like 12, I think, and it was really good.
Well, there's even a newer one.
I've not seen that.
All right.
Godzilla, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Cloverfield, haven't seen them.
I haven't seen Cloverfield. I've heard good things about Cloverfield, but the other thing is that you never see the monster in it. So for you, I don't think that you would ever get closure out of it.
No, I need the closure, or it just bugs me so much. Okay, nature and animal. So they've got like The Birds, Jaws. Jaws.
We talk about Jaws.
Let's talk about Jaws.
Jaws just was. I don't even think as a kid I ever watched the movie. I think
you just went on the ride.
I just went on the ride at
Universal
Studios, and that's what gave me nightmares. I still.
Me too.
I don't think I've ever watched the full movie through.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw Jaws when I was, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6. My dad used to watch it like a lot.
I was younger than 6 at the time.
I went to Universal when I was 6. And I had nightmares about that ride. And I had nightmares that Jaws, the animatronic, like robot Jaws from the ride, was in my grandparents' pool. and in their above ground pool. And he was trying to get me.
Yeah. So my nightmare from it. So like when we went there, right?
Mhm.
I was more excited about going to see Beetlejuice live than about anything else there. Okay, if that help gives you like a perspective of.
That sounds like you.
And I saw Barney there. Like I was excited about Barney as well.
So you were probably like 4.
Yeah, I got one of the. My mom still has. I think she gave it to me.
Yeah, it's
So
upstairs.
I have a leaf from Barney, from the thing that
from the show that you
the
saw.
live show,
That's so
and
cute.
the leaves fall out, and I got to keep that, right. So that's what I remember.
That and being terrorized by a robotic shark.
So that was like the big highlight there for me, right? And then the big awful thing that came out of the experience was going on the Jaws ride, because like my cousin who's several years older than me. I don't know exactly.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Oh wait.
No, they're fine. She'll come down. And
she won't come down. She's 2. The gate's locked.
Okay, she'll cry then. She'll be fine.
Well, I just wanted to hear she sneezed. Okay, I want to make sure that's all. Do you have to give me a hard time?
Yes, it's my job.
Don't.
Okay. So, was going on the Jaws ride, and my cousin, several years older than me. I want to say he's at least 5 years older than me.
Yeah, because I remember he was in your mom and dad's wedding, and he was like 3 with those knee-high stockings.
Yeah,
it's adorable.
He wanted to go on there, and like my mom, my aunt, not my uncles at the time, but their boyfriends.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt's boyfriends.
Boyfriends.
My aunts.
Oh, your multiple aunts.
Multiple aunts
and their boyfriends. Okay, it sounded like your aunt had like a reverse polygamy thing going on.
Well, to tell you the truth, with the one crazy aunt, I wouldn't put it past her.
You got a lot of crazy aunts.
The most crazy of them
I know exactly who you're talking about,
okay?
But
so they all wanted to go on that. Of course they couldn't just leave me off of it, so we all went on the ride. And looking back on it, like the ride isn't really that scary. It's you're on a pontoon boat.
I'd like to do it again.
Out there.
I'd like to go on it and see.
And you're getting trucked along, probably on like a chain or something, and then there's the animatronic Jaws that comes out at serious points, and the conductor or the captain of the boat, the person steering it, pulls out the gun and was shooting at it, and oh my gosh, that terrified me.
I like
so
how
much
you remember of it. All I remember is the shark and the fire, and that's all.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling the heat from the fire, and I think that might be like what really scared me when I was on it. No. But I never forgot about the shark.
What I vividly remember about it was that the shark, would get closer and would come out. The gunshot, which it wasn't like a loud gunshot, like still loud,
jarring,
especially as a kid. And then every time the shark came out, because there was always a gunshot, when the shark came out, it had more blood on it. And so it's just like
I'd be so
every time I would see it, and it would keep getting closer and closer, and that was just so terrifying for me.
You're
and
just
then,
like, it's gonna be my blood soon.
Yeah. And then we got out and we went over to the giant shark statue that they have hanging. Right? I was crying. I did not want to go anywhere near it, but they forced me to have a picture of it, and like my cousin wanted to like get in its mouth, because like the mouth, it's hanging upside down. It's there, and my cousin's all up in it, and I'm like crying because I think I'm terrified of this. And I'm standing next to it, and I didn't even want to be next to it. I was just like thinking that it was going to get me at any point, right? And then that night is when the nightmares started.
No. They've never stopped. Every night he just wakes up, just dripping in sweat, crying. Oh, it's gonna get me. We need a bigger boat.
Yeah. No, so the thing was, like the nightmares, I still vividly remember the nightmares.
Yeah.
Right. They didn't last long.
Yeah.
But I can vividly remember it.
Yeah.
I remember going to bed, right? But then I would wake up in the same bed, and like in the same house, and water started to rise in the house. So
that was the nightmare? Was you waking up in your bed?
Yeah.
Oh, those are the worst nightmares.
Next to like my mom, because at the time we were staying at because we traveled to Florida. We were staying with one of my aunts, and we woke up. I went to bed with my mom, and woke up. She's there laying next to me, sleeping.
Oh my gosh.
Water starts to rise. Our bed starts to float. The walls are still up and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I got to get out of this room. Start jumping to like furniture and stuff.
The floor is lava,
right?
Except the
Pretty
floor
much,
is the ocean.
right? And I remember, shark fins coming up. I don't. They didn't play it during the. I don't think they played it during the.
I feel like they did.
I'm sure they did, but I don't remember that.
If you've been there recently, let us know if they play the music.
I'm sure they did.
I'm very curious now.
But I remember the shark fin coming through and me being stranded on a recliner in the middle of what seemed like this giant room, right? Like, I know. Just in the middle of the ocean, but the room was still there.
Yeah.
Right? But the room then, like, as I was moving, it, like, expanded. Mm-hmm. So it was this just unbelievably large room.
Yeah.
Right? So it wasn't like it just disappeared and we were in the ocean, which I think would be more terrifying. But no, I contained it.
You're in a safe space.
I'm in a house.
With the shark in the ocean.
But I can't get out of the house because there's a shark in it, you know? So maybe that was more terrifying for me. I don't know.
You're little.
I vividly remember that one. That was absolutely terrifying for me. So what are some other ones?
All right, werewolf.
So werewolf is its own category?
Well, these are like animal category, and then it goes to like the sub. So, like werewolf.
I don't necessarily remember.
I don't think we've seen any of them.
Werewolves.
The Wolfman, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. All right, vampire, Nosferatu. Nosferatu. I tried.
Yeah.
Stop picking on me. Dracula, Fright Night, 30 Days of Night. I've seen 30 Days of Night.
Yeah, we watched it together.
Did we watch it together? Or was that your other girlfriend?
No, I think it was us.
That was us?
Yeah. It was they're in Alaska and there's 30 Days of Night stuff, so stuck when the vampires come out. Not the glittery vampires, these are like
Alright, I believe you, but
okay.
Zombie. Night of the Living Dead, Let Sleeping Corpses Lie, Dawn of the Dead, Zombie. I've seen none of them.
I've never really been a zombie fan. I just, because like most of them, like the starting out kind of like in our years growing up, they're all like slow moving zombies.
Yeah.
And I guess like the terrifying part is like just the mass amount of them, but that's never really been a terrifying thing for me, because it's just like,
what were we were playing that game the other night. What was that game that we were playing? We were at
when we were at at the main event.
Yeah. I
don't know what the name of it, but it was like a zombie shooting game.
That was good because that spooked me.
Well, because they're actually fast moving and it's
they would
legitimate.
be like slow at first and then they'd notice you and they'd be like, "Wah!"
Yeah.
And yeah. That was good.
So I think that's fun. Like when I look at the list, Dawn of the Dead, when I hear Dawn of the Dead, it makes me immediately think of Shaun of the Dead. Because that's like the only zombie movie that I've watched.
I've never seen Shaun of the Dead either.
It's a comedy, and it's making fun of Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I think of.
We should watch that sometime. I
would love to watch it with you. I think it's a great, stupid, silly movie.
I'll say that I'll watch it, but I probably won't watch it.
Because once I go to actually watch it, you're just going to be like, no, I don't feel like
Okay. Virus movies. So, it's got a couple, but the one that I've seen is 28 Weeks Later. And I saw that at a sleepover when I was like 11 or 12, and I was sleeping over with a cheerleading friend. So there were like 4 of us, little preteen girls watching this horror movie, and we went to the bathroom in groups like the whole rest of the night. We were so afraid. And I think that starts out with like a monkey, like we have monkeys near us. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like we had any paranormal. So there's poltergeist.
So then it goes into deeper like subcategories after paranormal. So there's like ghosts and spirits, poltergeist, frighteners, Ju-on, and Mama. I think Ju-on is The American version of it is The Grudge. Yeah, that was scary. I saw that in theaters with my mom as a kid.
I like how I got you saying theaters now.
Theater.
You didn't even know she said
Theaters.
it, did you?
That's whatever. Right. And that was scary.
That was
a good movie.
Let's do Poltergeist. Have you seen Poltergeist?
No, I haven't.
I saw that when I was like little, and I was terrified of televisions with like fuzz on them, like the snow. Yeah, and I don't think I was at an age where I could comprehend like what was going on in the movie. I just remember being terrified of fuzzy TVs. And then so we're on the Grudge. I watched that for the first time with Brittany, my cousin. And every time something scary was about to happen, she'd say something scary is about to happen. And
like to give you warning about it?
Yeah, she gave me a warning. So I did not think it was scary when I watched it. But then I watched it like a year or two later, and I'd kind of forgotten about it, and I was freaked out. And I watched it by myself, and I think that's why, is because she kept going, something's coming, something's gonna happen. Which I appreciated, because I'm a big baby. You know that.
Can be. And I think another one of
Mama. We saw Mama.
We did. It was okay.
It was creepy. The end was
creepy.
Really sad. Like, the end made me so sad.
But
it was hard to watch.
It kind of was at that point. I don't know. It was a weird movie. I feel like when you said like when you were watching the Poltergeist, it just made me think of this other movie, like the fuzzy screen. It made me think of White Noise.
I haven't seen that.
You shouldn't, because it's stupid.
Everyone says that, and so I never watched it, but I really want to watch it.
No, so I went on a date with one of.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
really?
Did. Actually, it was with one girl, but then I think
you
three
left
other
with
girls.
Another girl?
No.
Okay.
Three other girls came with us because she wasn't allowed to like date.
I think
boys.
I know who you're talking about. Oh,
and
wait,
so,
no.
Like, two other girls.
I'm trying to think of her name.
Anya. Yeah, so she wasn't allowed to date her parents. They were
remember.
Very
so strict, yeah.
It wasn't a date because it was because there was two other girls coming along with us, right? And
you, the player, every time a girl got scared, they'd grab your hand. You had hands all over you, didn't you?
No. So we went and saw White Noise, and it was just one of the stupidest scary movies I've ever. Like, I was never scared during it. Like, the whole point of it was like you would watch the White Noise and listen to the White Noise on like TV, and that was the way that you could communicate with spirits.
Maybe it wasn't supposed to be scary.
So the when you were watching that, you were trying to communicate with people that are on the other side. But what ended up happening was just demons would communicate, not like your loved ones. So they would drive you to death or attack you. Or
I don't know, I kind of want to watch it still.
You can watch it, but I'm not going to watch it again.
Well, you say I watch movies without you all the time anyways.
You do. Right.
I'm so wiggly. Like, I move every, 10 seconds.
Yes, you do. And you keep kicking me.
Well, it's because you've got the comfy chair. Yours has a leg rest you're not even utilizing.
And then, I put it over there because if I put it up, then, I lean back too far and I'll fall. You can't have that.
Well, there's
then
a wall.
I'll look stupid if I fall with my legs up on my chair. Don't even play. You'd be like, yeah, that'd be pretty stupid. It'd be hilarious.
I'd laugh so hard.
So then there's Haunted House, okay? The Haunting, the Amityville Horror, 1408.
I've seen 1408. I think that was on Netflix not that long ago.
I watched it.
That was pretty good.
That was alright. I don't quite remember it very much.
It was like a hotel room, and it was. I don't know.
When I think of this, I think of Hill House, that series on Netflix.
Oh,
that was a good.
Oh, that was awful. That was great, but it was awful. That's I had a rough week there. You had a rough week there with me because I slept with the TV on. Sometimes I slept with the light on too. Is a rough week there.
Yeah.
But I needed that. That was a rough week a rough month in my life when I was watching that, and I needed that distraction to help me pull through it, you know? Yeah.
But it all came out well for you. And then, we have Possession. So, The Exorcist.
Exorcism. I
want to see The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
You haven't seen it?
No, I haven't. I want to see it.
I've seen it.
Why do you get to watch all these good ones without me?
I went to see it with a friend when I was in elementary school. Wait, no.
No, because it came out 14 years ago.
No, okay, it was an elementary school friend. I know exactly when this happened. This happened when I was living with my mom. And wait, how long did it? 14 years ago?
14 years ago.
Yeah, me and Alex went to see it. Her stepmom took us and dropped us off, and we got a lady who was in line to buy our tickets for us to go see it. And then later she told her mom about what they were saying, and her mom was so mad that we saw it.
I love that you guys were able to sucker a lady, just a random stranger.
Not me, it was her. I could never do that.
I'm still like, I love that you guys were able to sucker just a stranger into buying you guys a rated R movie when you guys were 13.
Yeah.
Right?
We didn't even have to like do any convincing. She just like, she was the lady in line behind us, and my friend's just like, hey, can you buy our ticket to see this movie? And she's like, okay. And she was like an old lady too. It's not like she was like old. I remember she had white hair.
That's hilarious. And then there's Devil and Demon, or Devil and Demon and Hell. They don't know how to write, apparently. It should be Devil, Demon, and Hell. But like the Beyond, Demons, Prince of Darkness, and Devil. I think of one that should be in here is Omen.
Ooh.
You remember that with that creepy kid?
Ooh, and Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
Have you seen Rosemary's Baby?
I haven't seen that. I remember seeing Omen, and that freaked my freak.
I remember the Omen.
Kid.
Yeah.
Right?
I was always afraid of having a devil baby.
And then, like, witches and cults. So you have Black Sunday, Suspiria, The Blair Witch Project, and Lord of Salem.
I haven't seen any of those.
Yes, but I want to see The Blair Witch Project.
I
know about it.
Yeah, we all know about it because that came out when we were in elementary school. And it was like a huge thing. Everyone was like, oh, my mom took me. And of course, our parents were mean. Didn't take us.
And no, we're good.
It was a child.
So, yeah, I would love to watch The Blair Witch Project.
We always talk about it, but then I'm like, no, let's try this other one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's me. I know it's me. Sorry.
And then we have Supernatural Power. So Carrie, Scanners, Firestarter, and Dark Touch. I haven't seen any of those.
Nope. Ooh, psychological horror and thriller. This is your...
And this goes into deeper ones. So there's Madness and Paranoia. So Psycho, Eternity, right? Tale of Two Sisters, The Ward. I think
that's frail. Or I don't know what it says.
Whatever. Right?
Whatevs. I can't read. Whatever.
I think this can be scary. This makes me think of what's that show, that American Horror Story? And there's that season where they're in the psychological ward
at that psych hospital.
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't that
one was trippy.
That's a scary one, you know.
Yeah.
And then we have Phobia and Isolation, Frozen,
and not to let it go Frozen though.
Degree. The Descent, and Buried. Have you ever seen The Descent?
I did see it when I lived with my mom. You didn't see it?
No.
It's I
know about it.
I remember not understanding it most of the time, and then at the end I was like,
yeah.
That was it.
I don't think you there's even more detail about it, so I watch all these pop culture shows, you know, about like movies and talking about theories about it. So it goes into more theory, thinking that the one main lady, she went crazy during it and was killing everyone else, that there wasn't actually monsters. And that when you do see monsters, it's her psychosis.
I'd like to know what the director has to say about it. Like, I'd like to know what their plan was. I can just unlock it with my finger next time.
But you don't, right?
But you don't.
And then there's Home Invasion and Survival. So Inside the Strangers, You're Next, The Purge.
Didn't we already say those?
No, this is part of something else. Supernatural. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. Splatter, exploitation, and gore. We don't really like any.
I don't like those.
Splatter
or
torture. Well,
Saw.
we do kind of like
we
Saw.
Like Saw.
Even though
that's it. But I feel like that's a psychological thing too.
Psychological, but there is a lot of gore.
There is. I don't care for that, but I like the thought process behind it.
Mm-hmm. It's for like puzzle and like you have to pay for your
sins and yeah, like I don't know.
Hostel. Don't watch.
Tell them about Hostel.
Don't watch Hostel with your mom at the movie theater. Okay, that was a bad choice, right? Because all of the previews was just playing as it was going to be like a Saw movie, right?
Yeah.
And then no, for the first half of the movie, it's like soft porn movie, right? And
so you just went and watched a bunch of sex with your mom. Then you had to leave, and then the next day your mom gave you a very elaborate sex talk.
I was in middle school at the time, so can you imagine like middle school, like maybe 6th grade, like 7th grade. I was like right around there. So could you just imagine the amount of awkwardness between me and my mother as we're sitting next to each other?
The person who sold you the tickets did ask your mom, are you sure you want to go see this movie?
Well, yeah, no one, but we didn't know, like from the previews and anything like that. No one, it doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
We got someone's
coming.
Up, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and then the person behind you, there's the old lady behind you and your mom at the movies, right? And they go, now no smooching.
No. That was a different. That was we went to see Harry Potter. Right, and it was an old guy, and he said no hanky panky up there to me and my mom. And again, I was 6th, 7th grade, probably right around there, maybe 5th grade. And I don't remember which one it was or what year it came out, and it was just like really like how mortifying was that?
Oh, that had to be super awkward.
I realized that my mom is not very tall. She's 4'11", so her age can seem much younger than what she actually is.
I have a boo-boo. You have a boo-boo. Whoa! Now you almost had 2. Okay. All right. I love you. Right here. Okay. I love you. Okay. Good night, sweetheart. I'll see you in the sunshine. Okay. Go to bed. Do you have a boo-boo too, sir?
Oh, I want to have a black flashlight that can show invincible ink.
Okay, we will talk about that when it's not bedtime, Joe.
Okay.
Okay, I love you.
Like
Good night, dear.
Nope.
No, different
Put
one.
it back,
right,
please, and
bed,
go off to bed, okay? Carlisle, go off to bed. Go on. Thank you.
Good night. I love you guys.
Love you guys. All right.
Those were our beautiful children.
Yeah, so it was always awkward after that point with the creepy guy thinking that me and my mom were going to be having some hanky panky in the movie theater.
Clarify, he thought that you guys were on a date. It's not like...
Yeah, but still, it's like...
It's still weird.
You don't have to go and say that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So, that was...
Inappropriate comments from strangers.
Yes. Right. And that also makes me think of... side note about all of the crazy comments that we get because we have 4 children, or if we decide to take an additional child from that's one of their friends or that's one of our family members,
one of our our niece or one of our nephews or something. Yeah,
and they always we get people saying like, oh, those are all yours.
Oh,
and,
you got your hands full, don't you?
Yes, that's the biggest one. Biggest comment is you got your hands full.
No. Old people love to say, you know what causes that, right? And
yes.
And what do you say?
Well, I just said it to that one lady, right?
Yeah.
She's like, you know what causes that, right? And I go, yeah, and we're good at it too.
And she went, oh my.
And that shut her up real quick, right?
Yep.
And then people, when they say, these are all yours, and then you normally say,
oh, there's just half of them. The rest are at home.
Yeah. And people are like, what? Really? We just play right along with it, because it's like...
It's like it's none of your business.
It doesn't matter how many kids I got versus how many kids you got.
Yeah.
All right, so then we move on, and another one is cannibal. So, the man from the deep river, last cannibal world, cannibal holocaust, and cannibal ferox. None of these things I think of as a cannibal. I think of more as Hannibal. Lecter, you
Hannibal
know,
Lecter, which
and
I
like
was
that
never
kind of
into.
thought, like a Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I was never
Which
into that though.
in that movie, he plays such a good role in there. I don't think, have you ever watched it?
Oh,
You know, where like the crime is, you know, the criminal during it is Buffalo Bill, I think is what his name is.
I don't know.
He's the guy who's like, you put the lotion on the skin, lotion on the basket, or else you get the hose again.
I have seen like parts of it.
Mhm.
Like it was on when you were watching it, but I was not watching it. I think it
Mhm.
was during my first round of Twilight when you
Mhm.
watched them, and I just was reading. So
Yeah. So he's like the main criminal that they're trying to catch
yeah,
during that, and the detective is going to Hannibal Lecter, who's
to
in
try
prison,
to
and
get
trying
in
to
the other guy's head.
yeah, and it's just trying to talk because apparently Hannibal Lecter and this other guy know each other and stuff like that, so they're trying to get information,
Okay.
and he is just portrayed to be like very smart and cunning and
Mm-hmm.
you know super intelligent, and he is just playing all of the detectives, and eventually he like escapes from it as well. And
Wasn't there a new Silence of the Lambs that came out, like a new Hannibal? I think it was called
there
Hannibal.
there was new ones coming out, and I think it was Hannibal that came out. That was newer that I watched. It was
That was when Nick was a
okay.
baby, I think.
I don't think people took it very well. But it was still alright. I mean, it was still pretty creepy as well. And there's other
Comedy
subcategories.
horror.
So Little Shop of Horrors,
Brain Dead, Shaun of the Dead, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is well post-apocalyptic and sci-fi. Body Snatchers, Video Drone, Event Horizon, Doom. I would also think like when it's post-apocalyptic, it's like the day after tomorrow. Is like there's just a big storm.
I can't remember.
Okay.
I know I've seen it, but I can't remember. Like teen horror. Piranha, Fright Night, Night of the Demons, Prom Night. I've seen none
I would
of them.
also put like
Would
Scream
Carrie?
in this. Maybe Carrie as well, but
Yeah.
Scream would definitely go into this because you know it's just going after a bunch of teens, or even like Jason and Freddy.
Yeah.
Pretty much any of the slashers is going after teens because you know sex appeal sells apparently.
Ooh.
Horror romance. What?
Warm Bodies. I listened to that book when we were on.
We didn't we watch that?
Did you watch it? I know I watched it, but
it was like about the zombie that started feeling feelings.
Yeah, I listened to the book on tape when we went to Gatlinburg. No, that other. Maybe it was Gatlinburg when we went on vacation a couple years ago. Maybe because you were listening to like the Lord of the Rings or something, probably, and I was so turned off by that, so I listened to that, and it was really good.
Creepy kid horrors.
Creepy kid. Ooh, Children of the Corn. The Children.
The Omen is.
Oh, Oh no, that's not the one. There was one that was similar to Children of the Corn that was a different era, or like a different movie that I want to see. Omen. Yeah, Bad Seed.
Gothic horror.
I wonder if Child's Play would be in comedy horror.
That's a good question. I don't. Well, that's also like supernatural. So these things just fall into so many different categories.
Like,
but
but you saw Child's Play. That didn't freak you out.
I don't really remember watching it as a kid.
Okay.
I think if I watched it as a kid, would have scared me pretty good.
Yeah, I got rid of a few baby dolls after that.
Yeah, well, and then your brother also like put one in the would scare you with it.
My brother used to take this baby doll my sister had, which was probably similar to like the American Girl dolls, and he would hide it around the house to scare me. And one time I was in the bathtub and I lay down to rinse my hair out. I sit up and the doll is at the edge of the bathtub. I cried. I was hysterically crying. My mom had to come in, make sure I was okay. I was like 9, I think. It was awful. No, I couldn't have been 9 yet. I was probably like 7 or 8, but I was, oh my gosh, my brother was so mean. I mean, I love him, He's so mean to me.
This reminds me though that I needed to start moving some dolls around the house for Nick because he said that the doll when we were in the car the other week saying that the doll kept looking at him.
Don't do that.
And this was Miriam holding the doll up so that the doll would look back towards him.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Stop! It's freaking me out. The doll keeps looking at me." And it's like that's the only thing.
If
that
he
she
was
can
a
look
teenager, I'd give you the go ahead to do it. But no, he's too young. Don't do it. He will be traumatized.
He needs some good traumatization.
Traumatization.
Yep.
Traumatization time.
In his life. Builds character.
Trauma time.
So body horror, American Werewolf in London, The Fly. That was, I think the scary thing about The Fly is just the crazy, like, not gore, but just how disgusting.
It's gross.
Like it becomes,
It's
you know? Yeah, it's so disgusting. Society and Cabin Fever, and then Lovecraftian and King Horror. H.P. Lovecraft, Reanimator. From Beyond, Stephen King, The Shining, and The Mist. Now, The Shining is
You
creepy.
dig The Shining, and you watch all those videos talking about, like, fan theory, and then you watch that documentary that talked about it and stuff, so you're really into that.
Yeah.
It doesn't turn me on.
I just like movies that have, like, more, like, there's more detail because of the fan, like, not fan fiction, but fan theories about it, that you can go and speculate about kind of what the director was trying to say, even though the director won't comment on anything.
You like things with, like, deeper meaning, like the movies with, like, underlying or, like, secrets. Like, what was that? What's that one? I See Dead People. What movie is that?
Sixth Sense.
Yeah, you probably like that because it has a lot of other.
Never got to watch it.
Never seen the Sixth. I would watch that with you. It is a creepy movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd watch that with you.
Right.
I've seen it a few times.
And there's other genres that didn't make the list. Oh gosh, action horror.
Asian horror. Oh, there was that movie. Was it The Host or something that you made me watch? That was
Clown
stupid.
Horror.
Creepy dolls and toys. Chucky.
Dark
Annabelle.
fantasy. Erotic horror.
You're never allowed to watch any of them.
Horror.
Such as Scary.
And Scanners. Found footage. So this is a big one that started kind of.
Yeah.
I think like Paranormal Activity. Well, the Blair Witch was the first one, really.
Like, yeah.
And then it kept branching off from there, where you would find found footage.
I kind of like those. Like those are pretty cool.
They can be.
Yeah.
I
think sometimes they're a little too cheesy. I guess it's like if you're trying to make it look like people aren't acting, then maybe hire good actors.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
Definitely.
Mummies and golems and remakes and weird horror. I think all horror movies have a little bit of weirdness to them. Like, I don't know.
Don't know.
But, like, but I also hate the movies where, like, people, like, buy the new house and they get all excited. Like, oh, like, I can never say Amityville.
Or
Amityville.
The Haunting in Connecticut.
Yes. Okay, I can say that.
We can talk about that one because we watched that one not too long ago, right? And
did you watch it with me?
Yeah, I watched it with you.
What?
And we watched.
You were there?
The second one as well. The Haunting in Connecticut too, even though it didn't take place in Connecticut, right?
Was that in Georgia? I think it was.
I forget where it was, but that was like really.
I remember you were thoroughly upset about that. You would not shut up about it.
No,
it's not even Connecticut.
It ruins the whole movie for me. Like when they have. All right, that's one thing. When we go to watch movies,
be accurate.
It's I look for those like little flaws.
I know, and you point every one of them out
lot.
to me too. You fart nugget.
If I'm not like super into it, if I'm just like a little bit into it, then I start pointing out those things. Or if I'm not into it at all, then I look for those flaws throughout the entire movie.
I know you do.
Like continuity and.
Even if you are into it, you still point it out.
Sometimes, if I'm super into something, I will be quiet the entire time.
You've never been quiet through an entire movie before.
That's baloney. I have
ever.
To. Right. Anytime if we go to a theater, then I normally don't say anything.
No, you don't.
I refrain because then it's poaching on other people's.
No, you just like to interrupt my movie
Yes,
experience,
exactly.
not everyone else's.
Because you are my partner, you're that connection with me, and I feel like I need to share with everything
You can
with you.
share it with me the second time we watch it.
But I can't. Okay? I know I can, and I will share it with you the second time we watch it. But in the moment, it just filters off.
Like,
I gotta spew it
he
out.
was wearing red socks in the last take, and you can see he's wearing blue socks now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I do that a lot, so I'm sorry that I ruined some of your movie watching.
You don't ruin it. You certainly don't enhance it, but you don't ruin it either.
But finding those things is excites me sometimes when I find those. And if I watch like,
I get impressed that you find them on the first viewing though. Like I usually notice it like the third or fourth time, but I'm too into the story the first time to notice it.
See, this is what excites me. Like I watch. That's why I watch like the YouTube videos on like the the continuity or just like fan theories and stuff like that. And then when I find them my first time watching it without seeing like a movie on it or something or a video on it on YouTube, I get excited about it, and that's why I want to tell you about it, because I'm like, oh, I found this.
Yeah.
What
kills me is when you watch the videos about like the movie, and then we watch the movie, and you're like, hey, I saw this, and this actually happened during this scene, and I was like, shut up, let me watch the movie, please. But I love you, Steve.
So, all right, back to the haunting in Connecticut, right? You think it's cheesy when they like buy the new house?
No, I
house?
like those, but it creeps me out because we move quite a bit.
We have moved quite a bit. We've worked this is the longest time we've been in the house now?
No, our last house I think was the longest.
Well, we're going on 3 years now.
Yeah, I think we were there for 3 years.
So we're getting close, and we're talking about moving again.
But
we have work to get done on the house before.
I mean, if we want to make more than if we want to make enough to buy our dream, our final home, I'm content here for now. I know that I complain all the time, but that's my job. I'm here all the time. I get tired of looking at the same walls.
So you like those, like it's starting fresh, and then like things slowly start to happen, and kind of build up to a big drop.
Yeah, I like it, but then I don't, because I feel like it's I feel it very close to me. I mean, I've moved so much when I was a kid. I feel like if we keep moving, we're bound to move into like that house that we're gonna be murdered in. Like,
I wouldn't say murdered in, but we have moved into that house that is a bit creepy.
Yes.
For sure. And so, because of these movies, and we like to watch the paranormal shows and stuff, we've come up with a rule. I've come up with a rule.
Yes, I am horrible at following it.
Yes. So the one rule that I want to have for our house is that if you think any kind of ghost activity or paranormal activity is happening, you don't talk about it in the house, okay? Because they are watching you all the time, right? And once you acknowledge that they're there, that's when shit happens, okay? Like, up to that point, it's just like little things here and there, like, oh, the laundry basket moved over while you were while you turned around or something, or oh, I misplaced my keys
again.
I thought I hung them up 2 seconds ago, and I turned around and
they're gone.
They're in the wall or something, like sticking out of the wall, like things like that. So you're like, oh man, just a little bummer. But once you notice them, then it's like they start getting ballsy and start coming after you.
Yeah.
Right. So that's when.
I think when they're ready to act, they're gonna act, whether you talk about it or not. So I don't know.
That's just my rule that I have.
I don't know. I know, and I'm like I said, I'm horrible at following that rule. It
scares me, because anytime they start it's like paranormal activity. As soon as he was like, "Hey, I think something's going on," that's when shit started picking up pretty quick.
We need to watch that movie again.
We should. And so this creepy house that we moved into,
The house
all
in
this.
the house in Hamilton. Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a very old house. I mean,
In 1940s.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad.
No.
I think it only had. You did all the research on it. I don't know what you remember out of.
No one, from what I found, no one had ever died in the house. But what we do know is that it was unoccupied for a few years.
It was used for like drug addicts.
Drug addicts were squatting in the house.
Before we moved in.
Yeah, immediately before we moved in. Before we moved in, it was actually
my mom and my stepdad were cleaning it up.
Yeah, they were getting it fixed up to try to sell it, and we're like, hey, we'll rent it. And so, and we know directly from your mom that there was drug paraphernalia in the house. There were, it was evident that there were squatters living there. So it's like, but it was cheap and we were poor, so.
Well, we could afford at the time.
We needed an extra bedroom. I was pregnant, so we said, let's move in.
We had, before we had a single bedroom apartment with a den.
Yes.
And it's classified as a den because it didn't have a window. Yeah. So it couldn't be a bedroom. So they said it was a den. And we were paying $590 a month for that. So
I love how you remember the exact amount that we were paying.
it was a pretty good deal, you know?
It was a good deal.
You know,
but
we were both working at the time. I was working at Chick-fil-A. I was going to school. You were working.
I was waitressing and I was working at that
Once Upon a Child.
Yeah, the clothing store.
So you know, we were busy and we had one child at the time, and then you got pregnant and we needed to move to
a bigger house,
bigger apartment we were looking at, but the 2 bedrooms were just too expensive for us.
And we had decided, because it would cost too much in childcare, that I was gonna stay home. So I actually had to quit my job, so we had to pay less in rent than what we were paying. So
we rented the house for $600.
Was it $600? I thought it was $5 something.
No, it was 600. And we
but it was a bigger house.
It was bigger. It was 2 bedrooms.
It was 3 bedrooms.
No.
Yeah, I remember.
How was it 3 bedrooms?
It was 3 bedrooms. You had to go through the 1 bedroom to get to the other one.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah, 3 bedrooms. So the 2 were attached, and then we were in a separate one. 1940s house in Hamilton. Yeah. It had a very sketchy, unfinished basement.
Yes, and a sketchy, big barn in the back.
It was like a garage barn shed.
Yeah, it was.
Which most of the houses in Hamilton do have that.
But the thing is that it wasn't just like a single story like garage, like just to park the car. It was like
I've never went in there. I never once went in there.
You know, it was very tall, and it didn't have like a second level, so it was just like, you know, just tall space, and it was really just falling apart. I only went out there a couple times. I never really touched
the
anything. The
lawnmower was in there.
Yeah, but I just put it right inside.
Yeah.
Because I was like, out from.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You never told me about that.
Well, there's no light in there either.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the basement is what the creepiest stuff was.
Well, okay.
Right?
Let's talk about this first. Okay, so you walk down into the basement. So there's like the cement floor, like cinder block walls, right?
Yeah, it wasn't cobblestone, but it was
it was like those cinder blocks. Yeah.
And then like the other thing is like above like the cinder blocks, the you know, wood planks would go across, you know, to support the floor above the rafters. Okay. You could see all of that, but they didn't have like any it was just straight like rubble in between the rafters and above the wall and below the ceiling. So just like went to dirt and like rubble there.
I don't remember that.
I remember that. That was like very specific because that was like very weird. And like I look at our basement now because it's unfinished, and like they have like wood and it's covered by insulation, you know?
Yeah.
Even though that part is underground.
Yeah, and we know that's a cement wall behind the insulation because we've actually gotten behind the insulation here. So, yeah. But I mean, that's the age of the house. That's how they all did it. And in the basement, there was like an office. I want to say he built like an office, and there was a shower.
There was a shower across,
but it wasn't a bathroom. It was a shower head hanging off the wall with a little like soap holder
against the wall. Yeah,
it was like built into the wall,
mm-hmm.
and there was a bar of soap on there. I vividly remember this bar of soap. I never touch it. It's still there. I'm sure it's still there. No, it's gross. I don't want to touch someone's dirty soap.
But no, that's a common feature in like those older homes, that they would have a shower in the basement, because
it just something about that, just like knowing that people like bathed in my basement. I don't know why that creeped me out so much.
He used that shower every time, because he was we talk about and when we're talking about my great uncle, he lived there for a long time.
He owned the house.
And owned the house, and we rented from it.
No, the boys have school tomorrow. You've got to get to bed, okay? I love you, sweetie. Good night. Go to bed. Go to bed.
Sorry, so...
This is our 4-year-old asking if she could stay up all night.
So he would shower down there because he was like 6'2", 6'4", and
I met him
the shower that he did have was
in the bathroom.
But they had a claw foot tub that got converted to have a shower on it. So he couldn't shower in there, and he was also like hip replacements, disabled a little bit. He just couldn't really walk and move around.
So instead of
super easily
fixing the shower in the bathroom, he had to go up and down the stairs to the basement to take his showers.
So they would have the shower, they had the office, and then like laundry was down there as well.
And then to the right of the laundry,
this creepy room.
Right?
I
never went back in the creepy room.
I went back in there.
I remember you and your mom went back there.
And my dad also went back there.
Dad?
Yeah.
What's your dad?
I showed him the creepy room. And
there's a light bulb back there, but it always would go out. Like, you replaced it like once. And I know your mom replaced it a couple times, and it kept going out every time. So we just quit replacing it because we never went back there. It was creepy.
Well, the thing that got me was that the entryway to it, it was not able to have a door on it because it was so skinny. You couldn't just walk straight through it. You had to turn your body a little bit. It wasn't like too much, like you had to go like walk sideways to get into it, but it was enough that
where
it was
you couldn't
noticeable.
Walk straight on.
Right. So, and then in that room, it also had a closet as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I said, I've never been in there. It creeped me out too much.
And when I was in there, I would just like you get the goose pimples, or
I hate that. It just sounds
just
so
like
pussy. Goose pimples.
What else do you describe it as? Like,
I call them goosebumps. I don't call them goose pimples. Then I just think that you're gonna just have pus oozing out.
All right, I'm sorry.
Goosebumps.
For goosebumps, just run up your back. They kind of like your hair just kind of stands on end in there, and you have a very uneasy feeling when I was in there, and I remember it, and it just sets you on your nerves, and you just feel off.
Yeah.
And you feel like you shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
At all. So just talking about it, I just get the running of the goosebumps up my back, right, from it. So that was a very creepy room out of the house. And we were there, what would you say?
It was less than a year, because I remember,
I think it was 9 months.
No, because I was pregnant when we moved in, and I was pregnant when we moved out. When we moved in, I was 12 weeks pregnant with Carlisle. Okay. And when we moved out, I was 8.5 months. I was like 2 weeks away from my due date.
Okay.
When we moved out. So less than
7 months.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
And
but
we loved it at first.
We did like it at first.
Yeah.
Because it was a good size home for us. Time. Not a big yard, but we had like a little bit of yard, so they could play.
Yeah.
I mean, it was street parking, but that was fine, because it wasn't like we were walking far.
It was one-way street, so that helped with the parking situation too.
We were right next to a hospital in case we could
which
walk
we had
to
to
the
go
hospital.
to a few times.
Because you had
gallstones,
while you were pregnant, and they kept
which
thinking that
I was in labor. Every
Yeah.
time I would go in with my gallbladder attacks, they would think I was in labor and send me up to labor and delivery.
Mhm.
And then they'd tell me I wasn't in labor and send me home.
Yep.
It was awful. Awful.
So then when well, let's talk about your experience there. Do you remember it?
I had a few.
Okay.
I remember this was during the time that you were working a lot.
In which we also lived 45 minutes away from my work, so I was driving a lot.
So you would get home very late.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like everything that happened would happen very late.
Yeah, that's my beard hair.
Yeah,
Continue
I know.
on.
I got the like root of it stuck
Worry
in
about
my head. Like every time these things would happen, it would be after after I got nicked to bed, and you would be at work. But I remember one night in particular, I was laying in bed. You were already on your way home, I think, and I was trying not to fall asleep, but I was really tired. Obviously, I was pregnant. And I heard a hissing sound from like the air vent that was by our bed. I don't know if you remember, but it was like right by the foot of the bed. There was this one of those big, old, like gray air vents, and it scared me to the point where like I could feel like my heart pounding, and I thought there was like a snake in the vents or something, or I didn't know what it was, but I thought there's something in the vents. And I waited and I didn't hear anything else, and you came home and I was just like, okay, fine, like nothing happened, there wasn't anything, no other sounds. So it's like, okay. And that actually happened like a couple times. But it was always like a very like quiet sound. And the basement always creeped me out. So I would always go down, do laundry, and I never wanted to be there long. And I always would get super freaked out. I'd switch loads and I'd run upstairs, which was very hard, very narrow, vertical stairs, old house. That's how they are. But one night, it was probably 2 months before we moved. You were at work, Nick was in bed, I was downstairs doing laundry, and I got just this horrible feeling, goosebumps, chills, and I just like could not breathe. I was like, just this feeling of dread. And then I heard the loudest hissing sound I'd ever heard. And I ran up the stairs. And that was the last time I went down there.
I remember you saying that you heard that hissing sound and you were never going back down there.
And you thought I was trying to get out of doing laundry.
Yeah.
Totally thought I was trying to get out of doing laundry. I know it.
And then so that led into my experience. Not that night. It was actually when we were moving. I was trying to get the last of our stuff out of there. And it ended up being this last time that I stepped foot in that house. So I was just loading things up in our van. It was 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, we had to do. We couldn't afford to get the moving truck and move at once, so it was like a
slow move.
Yeah, load the van, move. Load the van, move some more stuff.
Yeah. So you were at the new apartment. This was after I got off work. I drove over there. I was loading up, and I wanted to go down in the basement and get the
washer dryer.
I wanted to get the dryer. I already got the washer at that point in the car. And I went back down to get the dryer. And I was standing at the top of the stairs. Now, there was a light, like kind of in the kitchen. So at the top of the stairs was like, there was, it would lead out to a mudroom. Yeah. And there was the entry, 2 doors, one going to the mudroom and then one going downstairs. And then there was the light in the kitchen. So there was not a light behind me. Yeah. If it was casting a shadow, it would have cast it to my left. Yeah. That would be on the
wall, not
on the door to the mudroom.
Yeah.
Okay. I turned this light on, and the light is at the bottom.
Yeah.
not even at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah,
like
it
in
was
the middle.
in the basement. I remember.
There was a room to the right of the stairs that it shined over. When I think of this room, I think of like a poker room that guys have, in the basement or whatever.
There used to be a poker table there, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I came over to the door. I opened it and I turned on the light. And for like a split second, just enough time for me to notice, comprehend what was there, was just this black shadow of a man. And I could just tell by like how he was built, I guess, and like the vibe, and just like standing at the bottom of the stairs, looking up at me, and just I can see him in my mind, but it's very hard to describe because it's just this.
Was it solid or transparent?
Solid.
So it was. So you could not see through this.
I could not see the wall behind him, and it was just.
Did you see like arms and legs, or like just the outline of? So the arms were kind of out, the legs were kind of spread.
I mean, it was just like a person was standing down there, right? So like there was, maybe a little bit of spread between the legs, but not like
a dramatic.
He's like he wasn't standing there like intimidating, like to be intimidating. It was just him standing
casually.
there like someone's coming from the door. I'm gonna look and stand there and see who it is. And I froze when I saw that. It was just. I just stopped because it was just there. I'm like my hair on my head is like prickling and well right now just talking about it. Even how many years ago is? I mean, this is
7 years.
7 years since we've been there. And just froze. And it took me a couple minutes to just comprehend, like. Get myself to move and think. And then
now, did it just vanish or did it move?
No, it just vanished.
It was there,
so it was like there
gone.
and then it was gone.
Okay.
And it wasn't like it just like slowly vanished. No, it was just like that. Like just you snap your fingers. That it's enough time for you to see it and gone. Right. It was just so. What I was thinking, I was just like I couldn't believe. Like what I saw, what like I at the same time like seeing was like believing. I knew it was there.
You had confirmation, kind of to yourself, of what I had been saying that was going on with me, and like what you'd been feeling was like there was something.
Like I didn't even link that to your paranormal experience at all. Like the hissing, it was just like comprehension about my creeping out feeling and my feeling of unease and knowing that it kind of like in the back of my mind that like there was something there. But I was panicking. My heart was racing at that point as well. And I just kept saying to myself and out loud, all I have to get is the dryer and then I'm never coming back. All I have to get is the dryer. Never coming back.
And all you got was the dryer and you never went back?
No. I walked down the stairs and I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. Right? And I was just... So I do this thing where I just like squeeze my hands and fists and then let them out. Just kind of as like stress relief.
Yeah.
Or just like...
To pump yourself up almost.
Yeah.
Like...
where I'm just like... I'm breathing heavy. My heart is racing, and so I just, just saying out loud, just got to get the dryer, and I'm never coming back. Just got to get the dryer, and I'm never coming back. And I'm walking down these stairs, and I walk straight over the dryer, grab it, and I just start carrying upstairs. As I have the dryer, I am still repeating the entire time I was. Once that experience
it's like a
happened,
mantra.
I just kept repeating that in hopes that like.
Whatever it was,
whatever he was doing there, he understood what was going on.
Yeah,
like that's the only thing I have to get, and then I'm leaving. I'm never coming back. And we watch the paranormal shows where like they're investigators and stuff, and you know, from that, like, where you're supposed to, or like they always go in and say like, this is not your place, this is ours, you know, you are not welcome here and stuff like that.
Not us. We're we're out. Don't worry. Now, we're leaving.
I will tell you, like, now I'll do that if I get that uneasy feeling. I'll say something normally when you're not around and stuff like that.
You do that here?
I've done it at other places.
But here?
No.
Okay.
I haven't had that feeling.
Okay. I was like, you've had stuff go on here? Don't tell me you've had stuff go on here.
No.
This is the only house that I haven't felt freaked out at, you know?
Right? So, and I'll say it to, like, myself, like, you know, get out, you're not welcome here, and just because every now and then I'll get like a, you know, like kind of creepy feeling. But at that time, that was not what was going through my head, and I did not feel like that was our home anyways.
I never felt like that was our home.
We were leaving, so it didn't like occur to me or register to me like that person's not welcome. It was more of, we weren't welcome in the basement. You know, that was his space.
Well, like I said, that after we moved out and after what happened with you, I did do some research on the house, and there's no evidence of anyone dying there. But Hamilton was was very heavily populated with Native Americans.
Yeah, see.
I mean, Indian Hill was very close, which was a Native American burial ground, wasn't it? So I would say more likely than not, then if, you know, I think that it was probably Native Americans that were there. And I feel like the whole time that we were there, I felt like I was intruding on someone else's space.
I didn't get that vibe that it was Native American at all.
No, not when you saw it.
I got, you know, a vibe of kind of like a farmer almost, like you know, the farmer, like kind of a stereotype, you know, where he's you know, very firmly built, you know, muscular build, but not like overly. Like,
well, I could believe that, like 1920s or, you know, even
so that's
1900s.
Kind of what I think. But your mom also stated, because she visited us when we were there, she says that she's more in tune with seeing.
I think she is. She's
ghosts
very intuitive
and stuff like that. And they come to her, is what she says, but she doesn't ever really speak about it when it's going on or anything like that. Just like after the fact, and she knows that it creeps us out and we don't want to know, so she doesn't say anything.
Don't tell me. Please don't tell me.
But she said that she saw a guy with like a not a straw hat, but like a round flat hat. Brimmed hat, like a larger brim,
like a sun hat.
There, and when I saw him, he didn't have a hat on, but I got that vibe of kind of, he was more like, maybe like, you know, like the worker suits, kind of like the Amish suits that they wear, or like a, you know, like a flannel shirt. I got that vibe, even though I couldn't see any of that.
Yeah,
that's just,
you got a feeling from it.
I know it's really weird.
No,
that I would get that.
I get it.
You know, from it. I guess just from like his clothing, because like it wasn't just like bare shoulders or anything see like that. It was like
the movement of the clothing, like the
not movement, but
you know what I mean, the shape.
The shape of the clothing. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I didn't see like his hands. It was like in fists already. So he was just kind of standing there like. I do remember that.
Insane.
Like he was standing at the bottom of the stairs, like waiting down the stairs, you know.
Well, you had already been down there that night, hadn't you?
I think so, yeah. And I went down there and, like, you know, I had the light on, went down, came back up and turned the light off. That was just habit for me to keep turning the light off. So
you do that here too. Every time you walk in a room,
I leave all the lights on down here.
Down here, no, upstairs you always turn the lights on. Down here you gotta go and all over,
Yeah, so.
Plus, I like bad guys to think that we're chilling down here, and upstairs I leave lights. I leave a light on everywhere in the house because I'm so paranoid.
I also leave the lights on outside as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we've never had an experience.
Well, that's why no one's egged our house yet. Yeah, everyone in the neighborhood complains about kids doing like ding dong ditch and stuff. No one's bugged us.
All right. Well, do you have any other experiences? Any other things you want to talk about?
I don't know. We're just talking.
with paranormal or scary
Spooky
movies,
stuff.
spooky
I
stuff.
don't know. I'm not in a rush to end things though.
I'm not saying I'm gonna end things.
No, but it feels like you're trying to end things.
No,
are you trying to end things with me?
I can't end things with you. I need you to take care of the kids. Okay, there's no way I could handle that.
I know. I can't handle it either.
You can handle it a lot better than me.
Mm.
You know, if it was just me, there wouldn't be any kids left.
Oh, true.
Right.
True.
Well,
Okay.
how about a question? All right.
Okay.
What's one thing that you would change
you know
about
what?
yourself?
I know we said you were gonna do that. Do a different one. I don't like that one.
You could.
I know,
okay,
just
because I forgot. Do you believe in second chances?
it depends.
Okay. Well,
What type of second
tell me
chance?
more. Any second
No,
chance.
I need a more detailed question.
Okay.
Or my answer would be depends.
So it depends. So describe a situation where you don't believe in a second chance, and describe a situation where you do believe in a second chance.
Okay.
Or do you want me to ask you about like a murder? Do you think they should get a second chance?
I think it's a situational thing. Honestly, I feel like there are times where it truly is an accident, but what'd you do?
I just pressed a button to go back on my stream deck.
Okay.
Don't ask a question. Just go with it.
We can see.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So if it seemed to be an accident,
Like a car accident, sort of like.
That's not what I think of as a murder. I know like there is
Well,
vehicle
I mean
homicide.
they classify that as that. So I feel like if I don't.
Drunk driver kill someone.
It's so hard for me because you make the conscious decision to go driving when you're drunk and then you take someone else's life. Like I don't.
But do you think they should have a second chance outside of jail?
I do, and
But
I know
not a second chance at driving.
And you know how I feel about driving, like as a whole.
Well,
I feel
just trying to know kind of what these situations are that you think that second chances exist and second chances that don't.
I feel I know people are gonna be like, what, they made that decision, but I do feel like they should have another chance. I should feel like they should try to better themselves, and I don't feel like prison's the place to better yourself or learn how to be a better person.
So what do you think about like a serial killer?
I feel like they've made that conscious decision to murder somebody multiple times, and I feel like they know. No, I feel like to be able to go out and kill multiple people, you have something mentally wrong with you, and that needs to be addressed. And I feel like you are not safe to be around other people.
What if they had proven years of being their mental illness being addressed and no breakout or anything like that?
I'm sorry. I personally have a mental illness, and I am aware there are different levels of different extremes, like how severe it can be. But I also know that people with mental illness, if they slip and get off their treatment plan, even briefly, it can really affect them. So no, I don't feel like they should be out in the general public, but maybe in a mental hospital or
they should get more freedom there. That there are
I don't know
signs of being behavior for a long time.
I don't know.
20 years they've been
serial killers are usually
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I know, but they're usually seen as being like psychopaths or so that they are very deceptive and can act like they're okay, and then they can just go and just like murder everyone. So I don't know. I really don't know about that. I feel like gangbangers and stuff like I feel like it's a lot to do with their upbringing and, you know, maybe just poor decision making. And, you know, I think rehabilitation is more important than punishment. I feel like, you know, helping them become better people should be the main goal, and I don't think prison does that. So.
Right. So what about like say something, you know, less I can't think of the word.
It's okay. Say it.
What about a cheater? Someone that cheated on you. Would you give them a second chance?
I have given cheaters second chances, and I have been screwed over multiple times. So, no. I would.
What if someone broke your heart? They crushed it.
Yeah, that's happened.
I know it's happened. It happens to everyone.
Yeah.
But would you take them back?
I have.
You have, and have you learned no, I'm not going to take them back anymore, or
I took them back multiple times. Like,
okay,
yeah,
I'm saying, like,
I've done it multiple times.
Now, I know what you've done in the past.
Like
well, as a person now,
the only person who now could cheat on me would be you.
Okay, but we're talking about breaking hearts.
Okay, the only person who could break my heart now would be you.
Nick could break your heart. You know, that's a different kind of love.
I would never just cut ties with my child ever. And
even if they attacked you and like tried to kill you,
it's my child. No,
you would still go visit them.
1,000% I would go
jail,
visit,
even though
it's
didn't want to be.
Not even a question.
They
even a question.
Want you there.
I don't care. I'm their mom. I made them. They have no say.
Even though they tried to murder you.
I don't care. I'm their mom. They're my child. I'm never gonna back down on my baby.
Okay.
Yeah. Now you.
So you would think they should get a second chance outside of jail, even though they tried to kill you? Made that conscious choice to murder you.
Are they diagnosed psychopath, sociopath?
I kind of like just asking these questions to you.
You like fucking with me because you know that this is like my worst fear is like my kids turning out to be serial killers. He knows this. No, it depends. Are they proven to be like a psychopath, sociopath? Are they a danger to society? Okay.
I mean, they're obviously a danger to society.
No, they're a danger to me. Are they diagnosed sociopath, psychopath? That's the.
Well, let's go down either route, okay?
Okay.
So if they were diagnosed psychopath,
mental hospital, a mental health facility, with more freedoms, but still in a safe environment for their mental illness.
And say the other side of the coin, they just snapped, and
if they're
had,
okay,
like maybe they had bipolar, at a moment of extreme weakness and
aggression stuff, then. Yeah, I'd absolutely hope that they would.
Even though that is signs that it could happen again.
If they're on a treatment plan, and I would help them be on that plan, you know. And since I am more familiar with mental illness and bipolar and stuff like that, then I'd be able to help them. Yeah, that's my baby. You know, no matter what my kids do, I could never just be like, I disown you.
Mm-hmm. I think that there are second chances.
I think it's situational.
You know, I think that
now, if a stranger came and hurt one of our children intentionally, you know, if someone came and murdered our child, I could never forgive that person. So like I said, it's a situational thing.
See, it makes it hard, you know, when it comes to your family and stuff like that, because you have to learn to move on or to forgive. You can't hold that in. It damages you more.
Well, you're good at moving past things that have hurt you, and I'm not. I will never be good at it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being,
as long as you know your weakness. You know,
I do. I'm very aware that I hold on to grudges. Like when you didn't do the dishes 2 weeks ago when you said you would.
But I did the dishes today and yesterday.
I'm just picking on you. Yeah.
I did. You
did.
Dang right I did.
That's why you're trying to end this, because you're wanting to get rewarded for your 2 days of doing dishes. Somebody thinks he's getting lucky.
Right.
Somebody's wrong.
So yeah, it becomes hard when it's like your own family because you don't want that person out there to possibly hurt your child again. But at the same time, it's like they're all humans and can't condemn someone for maybe a weakness that they had at the time. Or,
okay, if
you know,
some serial predator came and molested our daughters, you would be able to forgive them and think that they should have the chance to be out.
I don't think that just comes down to my choice though at that point.
I know, but what I'm saying is, okay, they've done it before, or they have maybe accusations of doing it before, but not the evidence like they do, and then they do it to our child. So it would be you up there on the stands, but you know, other people have made these accusations. Would you say, I would like this man to go free? Or would you say...
I mean, at the time, I think that they need to go through the justice system that we have.
Yeah, but you have a say on the bench is the thing.
And I would not say... I would say that they need to serve the time that was given to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that is life in prison with a chance of parole,
mm-hmm.
I would say, no, you were given life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
You need to serve your life in prison.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get parole, you know.
But so they say life in prison with the chance of parole. You say
that's a chance.
Then you say I don't think they should be paroled.
I think that he was given life in prison. You know, and yeah, like that second chance, that's a chance in prison. But if he's having accusations and other people are saying no, then that his chance has been lost. You know, if there's a majority of people saying no,
yeah,
he's lost. Thank you, Tortilla, for hosting us with one viewer. I really appreciate that.
I'm hosting it.
Yep,
you like that, don't you?
So yeah, that's my standpoint on it. You know, if they had 10 years with the chance parole, you know, same thing. I would say you need to serve your 10 years. Because that was what's given to you. You can't get out at 2 years with parole. Yeah. Just because you've shown 2 years of good behavior.
Their parole hearing, you would go in and say, I do not think they deserve to be paroled.
I would say they need to serve what was given to them.
Okay.
Because
but can we both agree that the justice system is very flawed?
It can be.
Yeah, yes. It can be. So it's, like I said, it's a situational thing.
Can be.
All right. What if someone?
But we can't take justice into our own hands.
No, I agree.
Like that, you know.
I agree. But you're saying at parole hearings that you would say.
I would say I think.
Or is it a situational thing for the parole hearing as well?
You know, the parole hearing depends on so much more than just me.
Yeah, but your opinion matters too.
Yeah, it does matter.
That's what I'm wondering.
But as I'm going in, I would say, you know, even at it, they said, "Do you think this person should get parole?" And I would say, no, I think that they need to serve the sentence that they were given. Because that's what they were given. They were given that sentence of life in prison, 10, 20 years, whatever, in prison. They should serve that before they get parole.
You know, we're going to get a lot of comments about this.
Maybe. That's fine.
You don't care. I like that you don't care about people like judging you.
Because there's going to be, for those people that don't like this, there's gonna be other people out there that do believe in the same beliefs as what we believe in. And I'm gonna say it right now. I want the people that believe in the same thing, because they're gonna be bigger fans for us.
See, I don't know. I feel like
we want fans. I don't
know.
Really care.
I don't know that I care. I kind of just enjoy having our 2 hours of us talking, because we don't usually get this.
This is the most time we've talked all week.
Yeah, last night and tonight, man. 2 nights in a row we get to talk. Woo, look at us, spicing things up.
You know, and I know necessarily like looking at, you know, as a business perspective, like we spend a lot of freaking money on jail system. You know, it costs like $50,000
popping that
a year just to like keep a prisoner. And I'm sure it's gone up even more because they want to start having. Is this the kiwi strawberry? I'll try this, but it's sparkly, isn't it?
Just try it. Yeah. It's good.
It's good, but I don't like that it's bubbly. I don't like the bubblies.
I like it because it kind of replaces my pop. Now, if only they had a Coca-Cola flavored one. I am addicted to Coca-Cola.
So
Wait, really quick. Have you tried that?
Ice.
It's so good. Oh my gosh. And you know what? It's not even that expensive. It's so good. Okay. Sorry.
Like I do realize that, you know, it costs a lot of money to keep these prisoners, and we keep getting more and more here in the United States, and it becomes hard, but and strenuous on our budget.
Let's talk about. Well, hold on, really. I'm trying to think of which way I want this to go. Okay, first let's talk about. Can we both talk about how they're keeping people in jail for like little drug charges for like years and years and years? And that's ridiculous. Like, if it's personal amount, seriously, they're doing it to themselves. They're not doing it to other people. Let's move on a bit. Sorry, that just like kills me that they spend so much money on these people who are addicts, but they don't give them rehabilitation. You know, I know like the prisons, not all of them, some of them are trying. They're trying to work out these rehabilitation, but they don't have the budget. They don't have the means to help these people. And that's what they need, are drug counselors to get in the prisons, help these people out, or get the addicts out of prison, get them in counseling.
I think I agree that they need to have rehabilitation and a way to get back into society with the right foundation afterwards. So just sticking them in jail is not doing anything.
Nothing.
Because of one contraband in there, you know, like
yeah,
when you're in there,
the
you understand how to get that stuff. And there, you love watching those jail movies.
Oh, I love watching the jail shows
and stuff like that.
It's lockdown and locked up and
so
all of
you
them.
know, like the paraphernalia is in there all the time,
all of it's in there,
and they can't get rid of it. So you find a way to get it in there.
Yeah, if you are an addict, then you find a way to get what you want. So it's better to help them to find something to replace that addiction versus just them learning new tricks and going out in the streets as a even weaker person. You need to build them up and help them to become a stronger person.
And you're not having them around the right people either.
Yeah,
you know,
they need to be around positive influences.
Be very negative in jail.
Yeah.
What all this is just a bunch of
I mean, and I've watched shows about like the prisons in Finland and stuff, and it's like, you know, they have, I think it's Finland, I'm not sure, but their prisons are not prisons. The punishment is being away from your friends and other people. It's not being locked in a cage.
Yeah.
You know, they do their own laundry, and it's not a whole prison's worth of laundry. It is in an individual washing machine. They take care of themselves, and they learn what's important to them. And that's, you know, something has to change.
I also watched a YouTube video about, I think it's Sweden.
Oh, maybe it was Sweden.
This wasn't about their prisons.
Okay.
It was about drugs and addicts there. Is that they at the rehabilitation centers, it's kind of like a cross between like hospital
they have
rehabilitation,
safe use stations, and they've actually started. I don't know if they've started them, but they've talked about starting them.
They have started them
in America.
In America.
In America, I think in Portland or something, which makes sense. It's Portland. But they've talked about starting these safe use areas where they've got clean needles, and they have, you know, people there trained for like resuscitation and Narcan there. So if you do overdose, so you have a clean, safe space where there are people there to watch out for you and make sure that you don't get harmed. And if something does happen, they know what to do and they can call for help. And at first I was like, that's a horrible idea. But then after watching kind of it was Now This, I think, is what it was, an episode of Now This, on Netflix. Is what I saw. I know you saw something on YouTube.
Yeah, it was like I can never pronounce the name because it's ridiculous, but Kuzark or something.
Kuzark?
Something, I don't know.
Kuzark?
It's ridiculous, but they just have like these, you know, interesting fact details where they kind of deep explore, you know, like a certain topic or something like that. So they were talking about like, you know, why does you know, how do you get addicted to heroin?
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, heroin is also the same drug that your grandma gets when she goes to get a hip replacement as that. So why does your grandma not get addicted? And they were talking about like the relationships that people have. You have good relationships, you know, good family and friends, and that helps prevent
support. You have people there who care about you
from getting addicted because you don't rely on that. And so they were talking about in like Sweden they have the safe use, but then they also provide the
counseling,
free drugs and counseling there to help.
In America,
like,
they aren't talking about the free drugs. They are offering that.
And so, and now, I don't remember if it's necessarily Sweden or if it is. I don't know necessarily what country.
I feel like it was.
I think it is Sweden, but you know, they provide the stuff and they provide the counseling and help to get like, you know, stable jobs and to help develop, you know, better relationships. And when they're providing the services along with, you know, the free drugs undercuts all of the drug dealers.
Yeah.
So there goes a huge amount of cost for crimes, and crime rate goes down because
that makes sense.
Now, like, what are they gonna do? They can't sell their drugs because you can just go.
Yeah, and there aren't these addicts going out doing these crimes to get money for their drugs.
And then while they're there, there's someone there safe to look after them. They get counseling about what's going on. They build relationships and get into a working society in this country. I think it's Sweden.
Perhaps not.
Has the lowest rate for these crimes and the lowest rate of addicts and stuff like that. So it can make a lot of sense, but at the same time, I can see that it's very apprehensive for people to get on board with it, especially here in America where we just have this war on drugs all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's...
Well, and you know, like my feelings, I'm very uncomfortable with like the whole drug topic. Like I've dated, you know, a lot of my exes use drugs and stuff like that, and I never have, and
well, there's that one time, but we'll talk about that later.
No, you're making it sound like I'm a heroin addict or something. No, I'm not. No, but it makes me, you know, very uncomfortable to think about, you know, okay, we don't want you to do drugs, but if you're gonna, keep it in the house. You know, sort of like cool parents, like America's the cool dad now, who's like, okay, just use it in the house. We don't want you to be
safe with it.
We don't want you to go get something dangerous. You know, so it's like, is it gonna encourage, you know, younger people to start up because it's so readily available? No, I wanted to ask you. All right. Okay. Oh, you've moved it. Now I can't find the original question. Second chances. Okay. So, what if you were cheated on? Because you asked me. What if you were cheated on?
I was never cheated on, ever.
Never?
Never.
No.
But,
what if you were? Would you have taken someone back?
I mean, that's a tough question, really. You know,
it depends on the person, I guess.
It depends on your relationship.
Yeah.
At that time, I think, you know, where and how, I guess, because, you know, when it happens, you have all those questions about how it came about, and to have that discussion with, you know, the partner at the time.
Yeah.
And
so
I guess if it was
situational thing, like I kept saying, you're like, no.
I didn't say anything about like cheating if it's you know, I understood your side that it's situational about giving them a second chance. You know, I think some of it is that, you know, that person that is the cheater making that conscious decision and looking for something better, and coming back to the relationship is not a second chance. You know, that second chance is for both of you guys to split because it's obviously not working. You know, you guys cannot work it out because you guys are looking or just wanting something different. You guys are hating being around each other or something like that.
Well, you know, I mean, I see these shows where people are like in good relationships, and then, you know, the guy goes on this business, you know, trip or whatever, and he has a one night fling, you know, and I see those things, and I'm like, okay, you were very content in your relationship. Why would you do that? So, like, a situation like that, but you know, I would never cheat on you because I'm not allowed out of the house.
No, you're not.
I'm not allowed out of
You
the house.
don't have the key to get out of the padlock. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm just kidding. We don't have a key for the padlock. It's just one turn once. But the door is really tight, so you have to push on it. And you can't do it.
When we first moved here, I could not open the front door because, and in the summer it still swells up, so it's too hard for me to open.
It's much easier. So if you want to get out,
well, we've got the sliding door too. I could do. Gotta get the change for that one.
I gotta get like a child lock on there. You can never get out of the child lock. Yeah, so I would say like if both people are wanting a relationship, like gotta look past the first like, yeah, you're hurt from it because you know that large trust impact, you know, from your partner, but you know, if your partner's wanting to still be in that relationship with you, honestly, then yes, there should be a second there.
Yeah, then you kind of have to look at what led to this point.
You have to get past that first initial hurt.
The hurt,
from it, because it's a very strong hurt. I mean, I can only imagine what it's like.
I mean, you know how
have to get past that.
My history has affected me and my trust. Like, I mean, we've been together 11 years, and there are still times where I am terrified that you are gonna leave me. And you know, you've never cheated on me. You've never.
You get concerned about the people that I raid.
What?
You get concerned about the people that I raid on stream sometimes.
Yeah,
I can see.
I'm like, who's that girl?
Yeah.
Who's that girl? Why are you raiding her? Huh? Yeah.
I go, why are you asking all these questions?
Making statements.
Assuming?
No. But because of my history of being cheated on multiple times by someone who I thought I was in love with and who I thought loved me, you know, I have horrible trust issues, and most other guys would not deal with the level of crazy that I lay down. And, you know, you have always been so understanding. So I think just from watching, like, me and my insecurities, like, you are very empathetic to the cheatee, the person who gets cheated on, even though you've never been cheated on.
No.
Cheated on.
I have not been a victim of cheating. The cheaters out there. Yes, so you confirm. So yeah, I would have to say, like, yeah, it is situational, but the second chance can fall to either side of it. You know, if the one person that is the cheater is like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
You know, you not letting them go at that point is not giving them a second chance. It's holding them and imprisoning them,
and it's just gonna make things worse.
Know, I think that there is a point where like both can work it out, but you have to both agree on that honestly.
You have to both want to
and want to do it. And that is that second chance.
Can we just say counseling is very important for situations like that, like couples counseling, individual counseling. You need to figure out what happened that made you make that decision, even if, you know, you think you were happy before. Obviously something was off. Yeah,
definitely. So yeah, you ready for maybe another
one more again
question? So what's the one thing that people always misunderstand about you?
I did have a lisp there for a while, so people didn't understand anything that I said.
That's one thing that
No, but I was trying to be funny there.
Oh,
it
sorry.
didn't work.
Yep.
Yep, pretty much.
Right over my head on that one. Sorry.
Pretty much.
So, I guess I can go.
Yeah, go.
About this because you always go first. You know,
You-
I do say ladies first, but get out of the way. No, I'm just kidding.
You chauvinistic.
I would say people misunderstand me is that they
Pull me
like
closer.
you can't get any closer. You're against
I
my
just
chair.
want to lean back, but then I'm
Okay.
over here.
Is that people kind of put me in like this box of like very innocent, I guess, and like
My grandma still.
yes,
Oh my gosh, when we started dating, she would go, "Oh, he's just so sweet. He's just so innocent."
sweet, innocent, quiet, you know, keeps to themselves,
Mhm.
which is kind of right.
Mhm.
But then people see that, oh, I have what am I at 7 tattoos. You know,
Yeah.
I like more heavy metal
Yeah.
music and kind of like these louder things going on.
Yeah.
And people are like, whoa. And they have to like rethink what they think of me
Yeah, they're
as
like,
a person.
What?
They don't see quiet Cameron over there in the corner,
Yeah.
you know, listening to heavy metal.
Yeah. I will say,
and
honestly,
getting tattoos.
I still, every time you swear, I'm like, that
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
nice
sound
words.
right. Every time he swears, it surprises me. I'm like, that doesn't sound natural. Like, it sounds like you're just like, it's just so funny to me.
Like you think I'm forcing it.
Yeah, almost. Well, just because it just doesn't seem like it's coming out of you because, I don't know.
Just so innocent and
Yeah,
sweet.
you're just so sweet and that's
I could never do anything wrong.
Yes.
According to your family.
I know.
And my family.
I know. Oh my god. Everyone thinks that I just like trapped you and
Yep.
just molested you.
You've corrupted me.
I
is
have.
what they think.
Yes.
Is really what it is.
Yeah.
I was the best child. My mom.
You were the only child until you were like 10.
Right. I was the best child until I was 10. Well, not
You
even
were the
after
only
that.
child
The
until
only child until I was 10, but I was the best child all the way up until
me.
you became pregnant with what they thought of was another baby.
Yeah,
not
man baby.
Another man's
Yeah.
baby.
Now you're
You know,
baby.
Not me being the baby daddy.
Yeah.
But you know, let alone it did.
That's
come
what
out
they
to be
thought.
true that
We
I
have
am the baby daddy.
We have proof.
Yes, I.
that he is the baby daddy.
I am the baby daddy.
Cameron, you are the father.
Right.
Not that there was any doubt on my side.
No,
Yes, I've always known
Mhm.
that you were my baby daddy.
I never doubted you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we both knew.
So
they didn't have to know. They
Yeah.
just thought that you were a virgin, didn't know how I got pregnant, that we
Yeah.
just held hands and like was like, "Oh, guess what? I'm pregnant."
even the second time when you became pregnant, we went to tell my dad, and he asked me if I knew how that was working.
Yeah, you know how that happens, right?
Yeah. So we get.
And they told you to double up.
Yeah, he told me
And
to double wrap.
Yeah, double wrap it, and you're like, that is gonna cause baby number 3, surely.
Oh gosh, I was like, really? So, yeah, I think that's what people misunderstand me the most
They
is
just
that
think
I'm
you're
just
so
so
sweet.
quiet,
Mhm.
and you know, I don't really speak out very much. I guess, like especially in large situations or,
Yeah.
or you know, large groups.
Yeah.
Um,
You're just quiet because you're plotting. You're plotting your way to get out of this friggin' social situation so
Yeah,
you can
because
go
I'm an
home and
introvert.
listen to your heavy metal music and plan your next tattoo is what it is.
play video games and you know, read the books that I want to read.
The book.
The book.
You only
Yeah.
read one book series.
Well, no, I've read all the Harry Potters.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, well, I like to listen to a lot of books on tape.
Yeah.
And I've read
I like books
the
on
Hunger Games.
Oh, that's
Series.
right. I remember. You didn't
Um,
finish the last one, I don't think.
No, it was really close, but I listened to it on tape.
You got bored
Um,
at the end.
It's not necessarily that I got bored. It's that I think like I lost track of where I was because I was reading it. We were at an apartment, and like one of the kids like knocked it. I think Carlisle, because he was a crazy kid.
Oh,
so-
yeah. I was going to say Carlisle wasn't even crawling yet.
So I've started listening to books on tape
While you're working.
while I'm working
Yeah.
because it gives me a good time. You know, I mean, 8 hours of just processing transactions or requests
Mhm.
can get quite boring. So,
And you don't want to talk to me.
well, I
Rather.
can't text you. It's different, you
Nice.
know. I can't call you. They frown upon me being at my desk working. And
Not at
talking,
work here. No.
right? So
We could get like what's like a tunnel system from
like
here
a tin
up
can
to,
in a string. And
yes, yes, to my spot by
To
the
your
sofa
living room.
upstairs, and we could just talk to each other. These kids are driving me nuts.
Yeah.
No shit. You told me that 2 minutes ago.
All right. So what's the thing that people misunderstand about you, lady?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know what. I don't know. You tell me.
I would
because
say,
I.
is your anxiety.
Yeah.
And especially to hone in on one point is not driving, not having your license. People cannot understand how you can live without that.
Yeah.
People don't get it. And when I mention it to people, they pause and they're like, "What?
Yeah.
She doesn't have her license. She can't drive."
Yeah.
And I say no. She has a lot of anxiety. It's almost to the point where it's like a disorder, and it truly freaks her out just being a passenger
Yeah.
in the car. She jumps and like puts her hand out like she's going to use the force.
I do. I use the force
to stop cars,
Yeah.
even though they are safely pulling out in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
Or even unsafely, but still enough where I could slow down.
You've never gotten in an accident.
Not with you in the car.
Well, I wouldn't even say that was an accident. You spun out. But
I've spun out twice.
what was this? The first time was in your El Camino,
Yes,
right?
and my El Camino,
What
I
year?
spun out.
What year was your El Camino?
It was a 1983 El Camino
1983 El
Super
Camino.
Sport.
That's why I
V8.
fell for you.
Yeah,
That sexy crack.
pretty blue.
It was
with
the
white
ugliest
racing
blue. I
stripes.
hate that color
Oh, it
blue.
was such a pretty blue. I loved it. Right, like it was a true like blue. I would say
Yeah.
it wasn't like a sky blue, and it wasn't a royal. It was a true
Yeah, it
blue
was
color. And when it happened, it just started raining. It was
Mhm.
after school. I wasn't a senior. I was a junior.
Yeah,
Um,
because it was when I lived in Tennessee when it happened. I remember when
So,
it happened. You told
I-
me, and I was so mad that you got a ticket. I'm like, we can't afford a ticket.
Yeah. So I was turning left at an intersection. We had a red light, so I was at a stop. I was a couple cars behind. We had a green light and green arrow to turn.
Mhm.
So I turned through the intersection. I started to slide a little bit, which was okay.
Mhm.
You just turn into your slide, but I turned too much into my slide.
Mhm.
So once my wheels caught, it flipped me around,
Mhm.
and I spun and I hit the curb.
Yeah.
And the car like bounced up over top, so I was halfway
Mhm.
on the shoulder and halfway
Yeah.
in the grass. So I was like, crap. And I got out, looked at my car, and went to get back in to turn,
Yeah.
get back going. But an off duty cop saw
Yeah. Off
that
duty
I was
cop.
facing the wrong way
Doesn't count
in
you
the
cheater
shoulder.
cop.
Right? And called an on duty cop, and
Yeah.
I got a ticket and had to go to
Traffic school, right?
not traffic school. It's like this, like for teens that
Reckless
tickets.
driving school.
Right. So I got reckless driving, and so like teens, I forget what it's called,
Yeah.
the terminology, but it was just like a one night thing. You go there
Mhm.
and you listen to all the horror stories about people and driving, of speeding or hydroplaning,
Yeah.
and it was car teens. That's what it's called, car
teens.
teens.
Oh, that was
Right.
hard to remember. How'd you
mean,
ever remember that one?
I'm sorry,
Cartoons
it's
about
been
teens driving.
10 years. 11 years since I've done that. The one time. And then I also had to go to court
Mhm.
as well. That's why I got put into car teens. Bailey's up now. So
Hold on. I'll just go get her.
That's
Actually, stay here. Let
um
me see.
so it was car teens that I had to go in there, and I had to go to court and pay a fine for the ticket, and court fees as well, which was ridiculous. I mean, $100 just for court fees. I did the time, and I also had to fix my El Camino because I bent my axle, and I bent the rim on my El Camino, which ended up, the rim itself was about $400 worth because it was aluminum rim, very fancy, and the axle wasn't too bad. I was able to replace that. So that was not so fun. It was like $600-$700 experience. For
The
that
best,
one
the only
part of
upside
it.
was your mom was not mad.
No, she
I
wasn't.
really thought she was gonna be mad.
The cop had to drive me home because he said that I couldn't drive on my El Camino. So I got pulled over into a parking lot. He escorted me over and then took me home. And my mom was not upset at all.
And let's be real, your mom is a very patient person with you, but not other people. I'm kind of Oh, mommy. Okay. This is Bailey. Say hi, Bailey. You see camera? No.
No, she's camera shy right now. So.
But I'm kind of surprised she didn't flip out on the cop. Like, won't you in a little bit? Yeah. What was the other time that you did though?
The other time was I was getting on the highway again. It rained. I was in a minivan. And I took the turn just a little too quick.
I remember when you were going on that, like...
It's a very tight on-ramp there, and I just took a little too quick and spun out into the grass on the inside. But I didn't hit anything or...
anyone, and no one caught you.
Yeah, so...
This isn't on camera, right? I don't see it.
No, you're fine. So, I was able just to hop back on and be good. No, you need to stay over there.
Do I? I think
yes.
I'm...
Okay. So I just spun out and then just got back on the highway or on the on-ramp and got on the highway. So
you were sneaky.
It was all good. Nobody saw me.
Well, there's that time you bent the axle on the van, though. Which I wouldn't call that an accident. That was like extreme parking.
I didn't bend the axle. I offset the alignment.
Yeah.
But that was because we had an ice storm.
Extreme parking is what it was.
Did we get on this conversation? We had an ice storm, all right? Mm-hmm. And again, this is when we lived in Hamilton, so we were 45 minutes away ish from where I worked. Yeah. And for this ice storm, I remember I counted how many accidents I saw on my way home. Mm-hmm. Because it was, like really dangerous to get home.
It was awful.
I think it ended up taking me like an hour and a half.
It took forever. I was so worried.
For me to get home. I counted over 30 accidents on my way home. I remember that. One, I just got on the highway to get going home. And this car was like in front of me in a lane over. Mm-hmm. Kept sliding a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like just it would slide and then it would be fine and then it would slide and be fine for a little bit. So I was like, I need to pass this person.
Yeah.
I don't want to be behind them anymore. So I passed him, and as soon as I got past them, they just spun out and just spun off to the side of the road.
So the wind from you going past them just blew them off the road.
It fucked them up. Sorry.
See, you cursed right now, and it just sounds strange.
Right.
See, it's because you didn't start cussing until you were like in high school, and I started when I was 6. I think that's the difference.
So, it was just real funny for that. That was ridiculous. So I got almost all the way home. I was one turn away from being on our street. And our street, I was walking distance from our home. And I just turn onto the road, and I'm going slow, but I hit my brakes, and it wasn't even I hit my brakes, and the angle of the road just to get to the curb was just enough to slide my car down and smack against the curb, and I bent the.
You tried to go a couple more times, didn't you?
Just one more time. So then I was like, crap. Well, let's just keep going. I'm so close to being home. Yeah. Right? Started going again, and then back again, and just slid back into it. And then I was like, all right, I guess there was a parking lot like right there. I said, all right, I guess I'm just parking over here. And I just pulled in that parking lot, parked it, and then I ice skated home.
Yeah. Did you fall?
No, I didn't fall.
You didn't fall?
No.
Really? I would have fallen so hard.
All the roads, everything was just covered in ice.
Yeah.
And it was like, it only took like a couple hours for this to go on or like to come down and form to ice. So it was ridiculous how close it could get. We were on what people misunderstand about you, and we were talking about driving. That's how we got to this. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Driving.
So I would say that what people misunderstand is your anxiety for you.
Yeah. But specifically the driving, because that's something that they can see and how it affects like my life.
And it's something that they have a daily thing part, and having to take that out of their life, they can't comprehend how you can function without it.
The hardest part for me with that is the way that people react when I say I can't drive. And they're like, what do you mean you can't drive? Like, first, I think they think, like, okay, I don't have a vehicle. Or I got, like, a DUI or something, so I'm not allowed to drive. And then I explain, no, I've never driven. I've never had my license. You know, I don't drive. And then it automatically becomes like, oh my gosh, how can you not do this? How can you function? And then it turns into where they're acting like I am a huge burden on you. Like how do you guys survive without you driving, blah blah blah. And it's like, we've been together, I know, we've been together for ever, you know. I can't get out of camera shot. Or, you know, we've been together forever. We've been together since before you were driving. So that's how it's always been. They can't see anything.
I'm just making sure. I
Nothing
don't want
to
to
see
violate the terms of service or the TOS.
I'm feeding the baby.
So yeah, that's a really big thing, is that people just freak out about that you can't drive. And I think even though I say anxiety that you have about it, people don't necessarily understand what anxiety can entail.
Yes.
They think that they get a little bit anxious about something and that's anxiety, but they don't understand
get, like,
that.
a little uncomfortable, where in reality it's like almost debilitating. Like, I will freeze up, I will start hyperventilating, I will start crying, I shake. It's a real thing. And I think people don't quite realize, you know, it's a physical thing. It's not just like I get a little uncomfortable. Nervous. Yeah. Something. And honestly, other people who feel the way I do, I know that they're out there, because I've talked to a lot of them. Not a lot of them that are out there, just a lot of people who I know have the same concern. And I would not want to be on the road at the same time as they are. As a passenger, because it's terrifying to know that other people are feeling the way I feel next to me. You know, people shouldn't be having panic attacks when they're driving. It's horrible.
And this is something that runs in your family, right?
Yeah, my grandma hardly drives at all, only when absolutely necessary. She's never liked it. My dad has a very hard time driving, and it's presents as road rage because he is so terrified. Now my uncle can't drive. Yeah, it's, you know, my sister was 19 when she started driving. It's, our whole family is. And we're back.
Bailey's back. That's all.
Can you put me a little closer? Just Bailey. Say hi, Bear. No, okay. Bailey doesn't want to be seen. He just gets snuggles. Good night.
I think that's kind of
but
a big thing there.
And that's okay. You know, people don't always have to understand, but it'd be nice if they could just, like, appreciate that they don't understand and just, like, accept that they don't have to understand. They just have to not be dicks.
Instead of just doing the whole freak out about.
Yeah. Oh, how can you function? It's like, just fine. Thank you very much.
I think of it when, like, people have those big, like, freak out moments is like when they hear that you haven't watched a movie that they've watched that they really enjoy.
Yes.
Right? They're like, what? You've never seen Harry Potter? Ah!
That's how I am when people say they haven't seen Harry
Potter. Like, how do you live? Right?
Just fine, thank you very much. You know?
Yeah, and so it's like the same thought process as anxiety, even though that anxiety is a bit much bigger thing. Yeah, do you see us on there?
Daddy and Mommy, yeah.
Daddy.
Yeah, there's Daddy.
You can be there too. You can raise your hand and say hi.
No. She was sleeping when we started. She decided she was done. So.
Right. But
wanna do one more?
I don't know if I have any.
Hold on.
I mean, I do have more questions, but I didn't have Well, let me see here real quick.
Mom, get down.
You want to
You
get
want
down?
to-
Okay, you can get down. What you gonna do? No trouble. You wanna do what? Play. No trouble, okay?
Let's talk about what you wanted to be when you were a kid. What did you want to be when you grew up?
My
Question.
first job I ever thought of, you know, oh, this is what I want to be when I grow up. Ice cream man.
Well, you would have been a woman, but you wanted to transform into a man to be an ice cream.
I kind of thought ice cream man. Like that's what, but you know, that was what you called him back then. Even
Yeah.
if it was a woman, it was ice cream man.
Mhm.
I was 5 years old.
You wanted to be in the truck.
I wanted to be an ice cream man because I wanted to have ice cream all day. I thought that that's what happened. At the same time, I was never a fan of ice cream because it was very cold.
You have horrible teeth.
Well, yeah, they can see that. Thank you for announcing it, though.
No. I'm not talking like
Yeah,
that they're crooked, but just that you're cavity ridden and have sensitive teeth.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I've always had very sensitive teeth, so I don't like the cold, but I like the idea. I like yeah, ice cream sounds awesome. So yeah, I wanted to be the ice cream man when I was 5. That was my first.
My first thought, and when I went to career day, because in kindergarten we had to dress up for what career we wanted to be, right? And I dressed up as a lumberjack. I thought that would have been awesome, so I wore a flannel shirt. I took like the paper towel roll, right? And I made like an axe head out of foil for it, and I took that in, and
So cute. I've got to look through the photo album, see if there's a picture of lumberjack Cameron.
Maybe. And then what else did it develop into after?
Okay, after the lumberjack, you know what? My mom was in the army, so I decided I wanted to be a soldier.
Okay.
And my dad was very upset about that. My dad was very anti me joining the military. And that popped up a few times throughout my life, me wanting to be in the military. I think when we were dating, I talked about it a few times.
You said if you never got pregnant, that you would have. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so for me, then it developed that I wanted to be a ninja.
A ninja. So
yeah,
you went
so this
from
was like a couple grades later.
lumberjack to ninja.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. But I wanted to like also teach it as well.
So a ninja slash ninja teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's exactly it.
Are you thinking like cartoon ninja where you've got like the
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Like martial art. I wanted to be like martial arts teacher.
You want to come up?
And be a ninja at night was
a night ninja?
Yeah. Was what I wanted to be.
Future big night ninja like in PJ Masks.
Kind of. But that's what oh, excuse me. I think that came about from my stepfather at the time. He was very big into martial arts, and I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, yeah,
I want to
awesome,
be a ninja too.
Right?
Yeah,
I want to have a colored belt. I want to be a black belt and stuff like that, you know. Yeah. And so that's what it kind of developed into from. And then after that, then it developed into I want to be a mechanic. And I stuck with that for
that was
a while,
long time,
right?
Mechanic or soccer player.
I mean, like maybe there was like always like if I could.
Yeah, but you wrote that whole thing about how you want to be a soccer player.
Huh?
Remember when we were in high school? You wrote that paper, or I guess you said soccer coach.
Yeah, maybe I don't know.
Well, because you didn't write it, I wrote it.
Okay, well then you wrote it. I didn't write it. So.
But you came up with the topic. You came up with the topic.
Yeah, so there was always like thought because I did play soccer a lot, but I never thought that could be a legitimate course of being a.
It was
soccer.
Like a dream, not like a goal.
Yeah.
Sort of. So you weren't taking steps to better your soccer skills to like become.
I was just having
player.
fun with soccer.
Yeah.
Is what it came down to. So, it developed into a mechanic and what like the ultimate like dream out of that was going to be was to build.
They're seeing her pick her nose right now. Can you see her pick her nose? It's like way up there.
I mean, barely.
It's
but
like
you don't have to bring attention to it.
no.
Okay?
Well, it's adorable. Oh, she's double picking. She's
Just
using
let
both
them-
fingers, both nostrils.
Let them that be that little nugget of surprise that they can
It's
watch.
adorable.
Right?
Did you find anything good? You got the bug nose?
Say, don't look at me.
Okay.
So developed to be a car mechanic,
She's so good.
and the ultimate dream from that was to build engines for
You okay?
Ferrari because they hand build all of their engines and are very precise with their measurements and have this awesome
You got-
facility that they warehouse like skylights and
Yeah.
trees inside of this, and it's just really is amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that'd be so awesome.
You
I
don't
think
have
your wall was
Wawa.
upstairs.
We'll get it in a few minutes, okay?
But I
Okay.
even
You want cuddle?
got accepted into a college
Mm-hmm.
to be a mechanic.
It's okay. Shh. Hey, it's okay.
Aw,
Okay.
this is real life right now.
You don't need no stinking Wawa. You're tough.
You want to go upstairs and get it?
Lilio! Hi, Lilio.
Oh, can't say I just wanted to drop in. I got this.
You got your stickers.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I'm glad you got your stickers, Lilio.
Yes, I'm so glad that you got them. I hope you love them, and thank you for dropping by. All right, so much. I really appreciate it. So
Yeah.
I even got
In
accepted.
just a few minutes. Okay, in
In-
just a few. Do you want a drink? My drink?
So I got accepted into
She's not hurt. She's just spoiled.
Yeah, she's tired. She woke up and wants her pacifier, but she left it upstairs. So that's all. But yeah, so I got accepted into a college to study
It
mechanics.
was called UTI, and I remember
Yeah,
thinking that was
Universal
hilarious.
Technical Institute, and
Urinary tract infection.
Universal Technical Institute, and it was in Florida, and I was very concerned because it was moving like 16 hours away, being
From our whole support system.
Orlando. And so they told me upon signing up and getting accepted that when I signed up for housing that it was going to be $500 a month, and I thought that was very doable to find a job in Orlando and to pay, and they would also have jobs, work time for me there as I'm studying to get $500 a month for housing for me, you, and our baby, Nick, at the time.
Yeah, Nick was already born then.
When I finally went to sign up for housing, several months later, they increased it
substantially.
It was like $1,000 at that point, and I was like, I can't do that. That's
unrealistic.
And I complained about it, and we got my money back for
in just a minute.
for enrollment and all that stuff, like the application fees and all of that, and I never went to that one again. I decided then I needed to go for business,
which turned out to be a great decision.
Really did. And I went to a school that was actually nearby, but it's more of a
technical school.
Not a technical. It's a university.
I know, but I think
fully
it's
accredited.
A lot of people say it's a technical.
It can be.
College.
It's University of Phoenix, but it's a very national. School.
Yeah, everyone's heard about it. There are 15 commercials a day.
Yeah. So that was just my process about that, and I ultimately went to own my own Chick-fil-A, and now for me,
you didn't go to own. You went to school with the goal of owning.
Yes,
it sounded like you were saying.
We're talking about our dream, or what we wanted to be when we grew up.
Yeah, that was when you were right when you decided to go for business, was because you wanted to own your own Chick-fil-A. Yeah, because you were working there at the time.
Yes, and they made bank.
The owners made bank. The
employees did not.
Made pennies.
Right?
Yeah.
It was crap there. So
we complained about Chick-fil-A last night. Don't do it tonight.
So then after all the stuff that happened with Chick-fil-A, I decided that making the sacrifices to work more hours for even more years was not
You were gonna miss
for
the
me.
childhood of all of our kids, and it was hurting our relationship a lot.
So I decided then I wanted to be like an analyst of some sort. Of
Yeah,
like
you wanted to work with numbers. That was the main
like
thing.
a
You're like, I don't know what, but I want to
analyst.
work with numbers.
So
Are
I
you
got
allowed
to
to say where you work?
I don't want to say where I
Yeah.
work. I do have permission from them to do this stuff.
Yeah,
I make
but
money
it's
from
better
it
if you just
because
don't say the name.
I'm registered with them, and I don't. Anyways,
Yeah,
so I work for a financial company within the stock market, and I've, for a full year there, I was at a call center and taking phone calls from clients and doing maintenance or trades or anything they needed. Now I'm more in a processing role, but it allows me to be more analytical and stuff that I like and problem solving, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I just want to get more involved in more of that problem solving.
And I still don't fully understand.
Because I make it more complicated than it is.
You do. You just copy and paste is mostly what you do.
I process customer transactions. Anything they want, I have to figure it out. Whether that's something to change on their accounts or a transaction or something broke.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
For you?
Kinda.
All right. But I like looking at the process of how things are going and look for efficiencies and make those changes.
Yeah.
Try to make those changes. So I guess that's my full story. I kind of jumped in as we were like trading off and
you
just
cut me
ran
off.
with it.
Fine.
So
yeah, we don't care what your dreams are.
Yeah. So you went to be ice cream man.
Ice cream man in the military.
Oh, military.
Yeah. And then I don't know what I want to be in between those things because like 10 years later, full cheer. I wanted to do cheer. Like cheer coach. Because my mom was a cheerleading coach at a gymnastics gym. So I was like, I want to do this. It was, and I would still like to do that. But maybe, for our kids' school is elementary and middle school. So maybe for their school, that'd be fun. But yeah, after that, I went to school a couple times.
Two times.
First time I went for interior design. And I had to quit going because we didn't have childcare. And then the second time I went was for early childhood education. And I quit going because I had a newborn and it was
too much.
Yeah. And then after I had him, I started studying to be a doula. And I worked as a doula for 3 years. A little over 3 years. And I just recently backed off from that because I'm babysitting right now. Full time. And I just don't have time for birth work. And babysitting pays better.
Yep.
So that's what's up.
Pays better, is more reliant.
Yeah, it's definitely more consistent.
More reliable.
Yeah, more reliable.
So
I do miss being a doula. Birth work is very interesting to me. When we've talked about it, I thought about doing like a birth-centered podcast. Maybe not on Twitch. I don't feel like a lot of Twitch viewers are interested in birth or, pregnancy, but, I might do something like that just to get that. Hi! Just to get that, but now I'm just babysitting. I don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
You don't know what
I don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
I don't necessarily have like a certain career or exact occupation of what I want to be.
But you know what field you want to be in. You want to work with
not even
business,
that. I know
numbers.
What company I want to be with because of the benefits that they provide with me. I mean, getting.
Well, yeah, but my aunt talked to you about a job at Ford or.
She works for a supplier for Ford,
but she's talked about like different jobs that she's had there that she thought you'd be good for, and if something like that came up, you may be open to it because I mean
Tell you-
it's
yeah.
cars. It's
not just-
cars
yeah.
and numbers, so it's like two of your passions are
Mhm.
like.
And for me, it's just that
Bailey's-
it's got to be the right amount of money
Yeah.
for me to tell you the truth. I gotta have, because I'm not gonna find these benefits that I get with my current role at any other job. I mean, amazing healthcare. I get up to like 5 weeks of vacation, and I have flexible schedules. I get to
Yeah.
work from home 2 days a week,
I
and
love
all
that
my
you can do
overtime.
that.
I get a good pay for it as well.
You get so much
Um,
vacation time. When we had Bailey, you got 6 weeks paid vacation,
6 weeks of
paid
of-
paternity leave.
yeah, of paternity leave.
I mean,
so
what
that was on
companies
top of
give 6 weeks of
my
paternity
vacation.
leave?
Mhm.
No one, like hardly anyone does that. And
Yeah.
I'm like, can we have another baby just
No.
so we can have 6 more weeks off? If you think we should have another baby, let
No.
Crombat know, you
No
know?
more babies.
I am baby.
Another
No more
baby!
babies.
Bailey wants a baby. Yeah.
So, yeah, I would have to pay well if I wasn't getting all those benefits.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
I'd have-
significantly more than what you're getting paid
yes,
now.
to
Even with the
compensate for
benefits,
those.
I mean, for you to leave a company that you trust,
yeah,
that you
and I know that's
is-
going to be there, and I know it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I'm trying to.
So yeah, that would be
Yeah,
for me would be hard, I guess.
yeah,
And I would think that these other, like where your aunt works,
yeah. Sorry, I'm.
can you make up your mind about where you
No,
want to
well,
turn?
I've got a baby here, and I keep rolling away. I keep
So,
rolling out of here.
They do a lot of. She does a lot of traveling.
She does. She travels constantly.
I don't necessarily want to do a lot of traveling.
I would not like you to do a lot of travel.
You would have trust issues if I traveled.
I would.
You
I
have
get
trust
so paranoid.
issues with me just working from home.
Yeah, I do. I come down. I'm like, why do I hear a woman's voice? And you're like, I'm listening to Twitch. I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah, who's that?
Yep. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
our what we want it to be when we grow up.
yeah. Like I
Current
said,
of
I
not
still don't
knowing.
know.
That's fine. What do you want to be when you grow up, Bailey?
Left alone.
Well, left alone. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to Bat Chat, a conversational podcast.
Sorry, we had a little interruption. A
Yes,
couple.
several times.
Yes. Had a few children
from
come
our
down.
children, but this is real life. This is one thing that you'll always hear on here. It's just real life. This has been Cronbat and
Dizzle.
T-Dizzle or Tortilla,
Tortilla.
the lovely wife. It's just been a wonderful time, and I'm glad you guys could tune in. And we would hopefully have this up on several podcast channels when I get around to it.
It'll be a
on
couple
YouTube.
months. Let's be real.
And on YouTube. So look forward to that. Next time I am going to be streaming is going to be scheduled for Monday, and I will probably be playing games that night.